Good morning, everyone. Morning. How you all doing? Hopefully you're doing good. What a squeeze, man. What a giant squeeze. We're just talking about it in chat. Amazing squeeze. Pretty light on volume, which is not unsurprising for squeezes because really what this is a big unwind is probably a better way of me putting it. Let me just have a sip of this coffee. Good coffee. All right, yeah, big unwind here. So what I think you're seeing is in here, everyone who was short side, both option side of this and in commons, unwinding, all right, taking their short positions off, which is obviously covering, and then that triggers the next one to take off, and the next one to take off, and the next one to take off. And like I talked about yesterday, and I certainly talked about on X, I did a post about it, there was not much selling on the tape yesterday. It wasn't like huge buying, but there was no sell pressure. Like I talked about many times the last few weeks, you've not seen those sellers sort of hold price down, walk it down. So we're getting a big unwind, but we're coming into some key levels. So let's go over that on the daily. As always, we start off on the daily and we take this volume off at the bottom. All right, so first thing to note, yes, we're bullish. We're in an outside bar. Okay, so bullish outside bar. Where have we come into, though? We're running out of room. All right, so think about what we've done. We've gone from lower bowl to the mean to the top bowl. All right, we are running out of room. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have an overextension over this, but a closure outside of this kind of area here is very unlikely. Not impossible, but very unlikely. All right, so we're getting into sort of max move territory. Doesn't mean it can't go further, but we just have to be cognizant of that. Anyone who's trying to be very bullish, you want to be very, very careful getting bullish up here. Secondly, if you read the newsletter, we talked about this level, right? We've come into this level where these stops are, right? Where these swing shorts are. So it's a very impressive move to do that in, 24 hours, really. If you think about from yesterday's open to today, very, very impressive. That's where we are. So we're starting to pop these stops, right? So, and we're also into these thick cool walls, all right? So 690, 700 gets pretty thick, pretty chunky. So I want to be careful thinking about a long here. The best long today, if I'm going to be long, obviously is going to be a pullback. Now, if the market was very kind, it will offer this. I think we will get that. I don't think we'll get it today. I think in the next week or two, we'll get something like this for a pullback. Maybe we come down here. If we come down here, I'll be buying a lot of it. But we'll see if we get that in the next few days. But this morning, we're going to watch for two setups, really. A look above and fail, which is the hardest setup in the book right now, given how bullish this flow's been. Or if it's very kind and it leaves the stops, you might just see a little walk down into sort of 9:45 to 10:15, and maybe the new 4-hour candle picks up. So where are those levels we're looking at? We'll look at it on the hourly. Okay, so let's just see this. You can see this is previous week. I'm going to remind you where we are. This is the big previous week node, double node here, double distribution or accumulation now, and we've broken out away from it. All right, so we're above previous day value area high and we're above previous week value area high. So we're bullish on rotation, but as we talked about, our location isn't very good. Momentum's fantastic. Remember, we're always asking ourselves, location, momentum's fantastic, location not very good. So there's a couple of options here. If we're going to pull back to the sort of overnight value area low and current week value area high, we're looking for a pullback into 600 to 550. All right. If they do that this morning without a notable drive above this, we can think about if the market wants to offer along there. All right. If it loses that level, I'm going to zoom in here now. If it loses this sort of first grey box, 600 to 550, all right, without a reclaim, all right, that would be the easiest long here, all right? Look below, fail, reclaim, that would be the easiest long. If it loses this and we stay heavy versus this, there is a short opportunity. That would be the counter trend short, all right, higher time frame, and that short opportunity will be back down to previous day and previous week value area low. So there is a short opportunity from sort of 550 down to 400 if they let that go, all right? Remember, the main sentiment note is bullish. If there's a runner beneath this, maybe we come into this. But somewhere in one of these, I expect there to be a bid. All right, so just be aware of that. The bid is going to be the easier trade as long as we haven't taken all the liquidity first, just so we're aware. We very, very, very well might get a session where we look above, fail, and we sort of do this for the rest of the session. It's very, very possible. Remember, yesterday's bid was massive. It might need a pullback into here and just some build out of liquidity for a while. It's very possible. The look above and fail will be above this red box. I'm going to put gamma back on here. Is that the right one? Yes. We'll be above this red box where these daily stops are that we went over. Remember, top Bollinger Bands here, and we've got some stops from, where are we talking about? What month's this in? Mid-Feb, or end of Feb and beginning of Feb, all right? Way back here. So a look above and fail would look like this. It would be a push out, a failure back inside, a build out, and then a rotation back down, all right? This is a tough trade because you've still got support here. The easier short will be under 550, all right? So that's what we're looking at. The max extension that they're pricing in today is all the way up into this next block, 26,200. I find that hard to believe, but I found 700 hard to believe that we'd do it for this morning, but we have. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. Remember, constantly zoom out. You can see overnight, in case you need to see it, Asia went sideways, London caught the bid. We've held this low. We haven't swept it. So this is the low that we're watching, all right, for the trap, all right? So this will be the trap low, and it will also be the puke out low. So no real continuation, well, no real counter trend short for a big move until we get underneath that. All right, let's have a look at the ES and some of the other markets this morning. Same kind of story on ES here. It's a lot closer to the highs, though, I will say. So the same low that you'd be looking at on ES, no real puke out comes until you come right under this 920s. All right, so we built out overnight, found a bid, washed out late bulls, and reclaimed, and this is just trying to drive upside. It's got more targets above than the NQ. Look, this is trying to get up to 6,990. Absolutely bonkers. But we are coming into an interesting area here. We are starting to reclaim this node. All right, so it's been a bit delayed to get over this node versus NQ, but any hold of this node is pretty impressive, especially down here, which we've now flipped. So I would say any hold of sort of 20s, any hold of 20s might be a bullish move. If they let go of 20s, that's the rotation back down to, let's just call it 900s in here. So we can make this blue for a second. All right, and you're into this area here where it has got stuck more than once. So I'd be very cautious. You don't want to be long and new money long in this. You want a pullback to get long into it so you can start selling into it, selling the rips into it. All right, let's keep going down. Let's have a look at the spiders, then the QQQ. Sorry, spiders first. Here we go. All right, so again, into a huge level here. This is your big level, and we are gapping up over it. So let's move down into the lower time frames. Same kind of story here. Puts won't really play until you start breaking this huge level. 86 is the level. They're in an upside drift right now, and we're running out of things to aim for. All right, so it's absolutely ginormous. But you can see into 690 and eventually the 700s and try and take out these highs eventually. But you really want a pullback. It might not be today. It might be that it squeezes out first. But you don't want to be buying up here, really. You want the pullback first so that you can get a good RR. If it just squeezes all day today, a bit like yesterday, I'm okay just sitting out. I'm okay doing that and waiting for it to come in. Once it comes in, I'll be taking it on swing accounts and on trading accounts. Same story here on QQQ. You can see right into the 21s. That's the big level today. And we will get a downside wash if we start letting go of sort of 18s, 1850s, back down to this level here, the 15s, which will be where I would expect the bid to come in. So the levels we'd be watching for the bid are basically PDC and this guy here. So we'd be watching this, and we'd be watching this and PDC. So it's the same kind of story we talked about. Ideally, one of these plays out today, and it's up to you if you want to take the counter trend leg down to these, or if you want to wait for like a bottoming pattern in one of these, all right, to come back up. That's all about which side of the trade you want to sit on. All right, Dixie getting hammered, right, which is why we're seeing that upside drift. So it broke out in the last few weeks, cleared out the liquidity at these highs, coming right back in. It's into a key level here, but downside pressure is big with that gap and go. All right, so I'd expect some covering in Dixie, but this thing's probably going to melt. It looks like it's going to melt, and we can have a look at CL, which is breaking that down. Can't get over that 105 level. Remember, we said there are some massive puts up here at 105 in Discord. So downside pressure still in this channel. If we start breaking under here, that's where a bigger slide comes. But I'd imagine we go sideways for a little bit of time. I don't think you're going to get like a major cool off for quite some while until we not only see major news in the Middle East, but actually see it start to see oil come back into the market, gas prices start to come down consistently. I don't think you're going to get a really nasty drop, maybe in the paper world, but on the actual gas pump, probably not. VIX is the big one. You can see we're breaking down from this channel, which we had been in from the end of last year, again, into this huge pivot of 18. So we've probably done about a 50% pullback here by the looks of it, from low of year to high of year. More, way more than that. Can't be right. Is that right? That does not look right to me. Anyway, it's my math ain't mathing, but that doesn't look like 50%. It's definitely not 50%. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. What has gone on there? 13, 35s. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay, well, deep drive down. Anyway, that's starting to really break down then. So big node here at 18. Sorry, this my maths then. Right, let's go through the mag very quickly. That math didn't look like it was mathing, but it was just me. All right, again, Apple held that dip. We talked about it yesterday. Held the dip at the bottom of the range. Still in a range here on Apple. All right, I'd be very cautious of this range. It's not uber bullish. We've still had a look above and fail. We still traded back in on Monday. We're back to the top side of it. Unless it bases out here. Remember, everyone's waiting for earnings now. A lot of this positioning is unwinds into earnings, remember. Do not forget that. Amazon, fantastic drive. And this is the one I wish I had more of right now. This is exactly what I wanted to see. You can see the lines I was looking at. We have been bidding down here this year. I'm up nicely on it, but you know, I need to see a pullback now. Probably won't get it before earnings, but if we can get a pullback to hold, I'll start jumping in with some more size. Goog's been accelerating still. This is the one I'm not in. I was looking for an undercut. We didn't get it. But a nice drive out on Google again yesterday, gapping up again today, strength in the market. Any pullback that holds on Google, you're looking for the high of this range, all right? You're looking for the high of that range on Google. You don't want it to bleed back into the range. You're looking for the high of the range to hold on Google. Again, positive news here again this morning. And we're into earnings season, all of these. Meta, same story. You need a pullback. I am long in this one. This one is paying massive right now. We're long from down here and here and here, and this is a big payday right now, but we're into this condensed area, so I'm getting ready to start taking profits, and then if we base out for a while, I'll re-add for the acceleration back up if they're willing to base out, but not beforehand. Microsoft as well, looking good. I'm long in that as well, but not enough size on that for me right now. This is actually like a little bit of weaker, so we're still in a downtrend. Again, we need a pullback into the 75s ideally, and show me that it wants to hold, and then I'm willing to rebid on that. And you can see into a big level up here, both in gamma and in terms of structure. So we'll see if they pull back this morning. Nvidia coming to the other side of the range. We talked about that, didn't we? We've talked about it many times on chat. Look below and fail of the 170s. All right, here's your range. Look below and fail, reclaimed. We should come to the other side of the range. We're basically there now. Overextension will run these stops. Tesla, has this thing caught a bid yet? It still looks bad. To me, that's still pretty ugly. It's trying, but there is no base above. So that's still not something I'd be willing to bid in yet on Tesla until we start to see that drive sort of start to be absorbed higher. Oracle had quite the day yesterday. Longs on this still playing. Again, don't have as much size now as we did in the first move down here. For this, I took a lot off into this. But if we start to pull back and hold and reload in software catching that bid yesterday, if we can start to pull back and hold, I will reload on some of these. But look how high we are now. So high. All right, into the open, folks. So you know what I'm looking for? Ideally, a pullback here this morning without taking out all the liquidity higher. And then really it depends what I see on the book, whether I want to take the counter trend trade short or whether I'm just going to leave it and stay more focused on the long opportunities, which will be the easier trade. But we will just see how we open here and probably make some decisions after that. Five seconds here, folks. Here we go. You'd imagine some profit taking, but maybe not. Maybe it's just like, how far can we rip? Okay, so morning drive, push up, start the morning. All of the mag green, by the way. All of the secondary market kind of names I look at, also all green. Anything I see down right now is AVGO. Everything else that I'm looking at, everything on my board is green right now. All right, so just be aware of that. So we'll see. We are looking for dips, ideally into this grey area, if they're going to be nice, or a push out and failure if we're going to look for the short, and a short under the grey area if they really are adamant on letting it go. And in between all of this, not really wanting to do too much. Let's get you on, Mr. Volume. Did any of you get any of the long overnight? Stops being popped there. I'm trying out this stop run indicator to see if it's useful as we're going into gamma squeeze territory. Say going in, we're well into it. Past your eval, GG's, nice, good work. All right, we'll see if we can come up and pop all these stops up here. Where's my footprint gone, Ninja? Where are you? There we go. All right, so this morning on that first drive up, we had 125 lots stuck at around 10s, right, which is what we've just tapped into. So there's a buyer stuck up there, 125 lot buyer stuck at 10. So the buyers will need to clear him out and let him get comfortable for a re-squeeze above. Why have all these gone to the wrong ones? My charts have changed. Give me a second, folks. There we go. So coming in to test that guy at 10s, like we talked about. You can see him on the tape. Here we go, into his level. So clearing out his level and see if they're willing to lift it above those daily pivots, which is basically your red line, your red block, the top of that red block. Above that is daily, you're into above daily pivots. Just want to make sure I've got that accurate. 34-ish, yeah, it's pretty much there or thereabouts. So the lift into here, anything above that is a breakout squeeze. Not long in this, unfortunately, didn't come into a level we wanted, or at least for me. Very, very fussy, especially when we're up this high. Remember, we've moved off the Sunday low. We were printing 24,900s, and we're now almost 1,000 points higher. 800 plus points higher, so that's why I'm waiting for a pullback. It might not come, like we said. If we're going to do crazy gamma stuff, then we are where we are. All right, ES trying to do the same move. We're above all VWAPs, 24-hour VWAP, New York VWAP, above value. Short's going to be the hardest trade in the book today. It's going to be the counter trend trade. I should add, I forgot to say, I posted it on X and on my YouTube. We're going to do some My Funded Futures giveaway today to celebrate because they've got buy one, get one free. It started 30 minutes ago and it's going to last until tomorrow, until I think it's like midday tomorrow. So if you buy any size Rapid account and you pass it within that time window, they will give you a free Rapid account evaluation. All right, so it's like a 24-hour sale or something using code FCT. I can post the link in here if you want. And we're going to do a ton of giveaways. So we'll do My Funded Futures giveaway. 1,000 likes, 1,200 likes, and 1,500 likes today. We'll do 3 giveaways. 3 giveaways. So smash the like button nice and early. The quicker we get there, the quicker we do the giveaways. You guys get the chance to win. But yeah, so that's buy one get one free is awesome. Like you rarely see these prop firms do it. So kudos to My Funded Futures to doing that. You only get one free if you pass. Yeah, so that's the deal. It rewards traders who pass. All right, here they go. They're trying to lift to get through these 730s. The next squeeze potential through that would be 70s. All the market just in a ripper right now. There you go. So clearing out that liquidity now. And it can keep squeezing here, and we'll have to wait for a look above and failure now, really. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to get involved at all. So this thing just keeps drifting higher, just straight up off the open. We can just give it some time to develop and calm down. Maybe the first 15 minutes or so. But unfortunately, they're in a hurry to move higher right now. But we're right into the top of that daily Bollinger Band. We're running out of room to go anywhere at the moment. So I certainly don't want to be a new money buyer up here. You're asking for it. We've swept all the liquidity now. It can squeeze as high as it wants. Doesn't mean that I want to be a buyer. A lot of people seem to struggle to understand that. Just because the market's moving in a direction doesn't mean it's offering great RR. ES about to complete the same move. All right, it's the same move for ES about to turn up here. It's trying to take the liquidity of the highs out on ES. It hasn't quite done it yet. Now it has. It's done it now. And ES, by the way, has a lot more levels higher to shoot up for. So we have that divergence we've talked about the last few days still playing out, where there's so many more levels for ES to start driving into. All right, we're starting to see some buyers get caught up there for the first time today. So let's see, because we've cleared out the liquidity, we'd need to see momentum shift. Not convinced on that excess. It's not the worst, but I'm not quite convinced yet. I think it's kind of into that 950, that whole number. So we'll watch. There's a little shelf here at 20 where we last absorbed that. You can see right into here that they're still soaking. So we'll see if we see a shift in tone. I'm going to delete this now because we've traded through it. The buyer's still in absolute control here. All-time high inbound. I mean, we're a little way away from that yet on the Qs. It depends. If there's a strong, if earnings are strong, which they were yesterday and they were this morning, banks had good earnings. It's interesting. Like, we pivot up 1,000 points, and then JP Morgan wants to say, "Oh, we think we're ready to start being risk on now." It's like, oh, really? Really? You weren't buying that on that 20% pullback then? Yes, of course you were. Still liquidity higher here. They're still trying to drive out. So they soaked in front of 20. They're still going for more. And they can go and go and go and go and go. Is this going to be a rinse repeat of yesterday? Very well might be. VIX not down at that 18 yet either. So we need to wait for that to come into 18 before it sort of does something more. So ES now through the 50s. Spiders will be going through for the 90s. That's the big level today. That's the third highest total gamma exposure, and the second highest cool wall is 90s on the SPY. That's where it's trying to go. Like I said, we're through those levels already on QQQ. But 690 is where the spiders are trying to get to. And again, just no position for me, just sat here waiting. Economic is not supporting all-time highs. Well, you just have to remember, while I agree with you, the market is not a direct... the market is not the economy. They're two different things, right? And they've diverged more and more and more over time. Do we have issues with private credit? Yes. Do we have inflationary issues? Yes. Does the market feel like it's currently forward-looking, thinking that this war is not going to last much longer? Yes. Are they unwinding their short positions for that? Yes. Can that change very quickly if the war is back on? Yes. That's why we trade, right? That's why we have volatility. All right, rejecting 30s now. First time I've seen buyers get caught up there. All right, so I'm going to watch here for a look above and failure. If we start to reject 30s, that was a quick move. If we start to reject 30s, 35s, here's VWAP. Big flush into the 700s, into this next node. Are you going to allow me to get involved with the look above and fail here at all? Are you going to be kind at all here, market? This is what we wanted to see. It's not the best excess at the high, but it's not bad. We can see these buyers getting caught up high, but we're going to need to see some pops and a lower high set for follow through. And like I said, it's the hardest trade in the book to take. But we'll see here, we just left a lot of imbalances. So I'd be looking for a lift 20s to 30s and see if buyers come back in and get caught there again or not for the short side here. Again, it's a very tough trade, folks. I want to be very honest with you. This is probably the hardest trade in the book, especially with squeeze momentum and especially with SPY not hitting that 690. But we'll watch here. Here's the 20s. So I'm watching here to 30s to see if buyers get caught to put a little piece on. If I don't see them getting caught, here come the sellers. Bids are trying to support 10s at the moment. So are they going to fill these imbalances a little bit higher? We left the buyers caught 32 and above. I've got a little piece on here now on that last shove. Not as much as I'd like because I'm not convinced yet. But the bids keep stacking up at 700, which is why I'm not convinced. I want to see this really test 30s first. I don't want this to be like yesterday and take 3 losses in a row either. So give it some room here. Right, they just popped a lot of stops there on that last move up. Ran the stops into 20s. Still these sellers at above 20s at sort of 25s to 30s not walking down. So a bit like the last few days, we want to be very careful because if they're not willing to walk down, and this will be like yesterday, but if we start losing this shelf at 700, 705, there's a wash back down into 680s, and then we can talk about coming back into here if we start letting go of the New York low or doing the VWAP to VWAP kind of trade. And if they absorb, if they start basing above 20s and rotating 20 to 30s, I won't be interested in holding. Again, start a position on for me. So still they're trying to lift. Again, these sellers are still not really moving down. There's a 50 lot of 25 and that's it. So if we trade straight through 30s, I will take this off. Again, small size just to start the day. Through 30s, off it comes. So they're re-squeezing. And they want more. And I should just know, SPY wants 690. It's what it wants. So stuck to the plan. First small loss of the day, but it's micros, it's nothing. Don't care. Had to position in case it was ready. I'm not going to try this trade too many times because it's pretty tough. It's a pretty tough trade, probably the hardest trade in the book, especially with the divergence. The big thing for me is we've got a couple levels to go to. This is like what it's thinking max squeeze is. But if we look at the spiders, and we know it's the most traded options market in the world, the problem is this wants to get to 690. There you go. It's desperate to get up to 690. So that divergence I am aware of is why I have it on this screen over here. So if it wants to do more, it can. But we are, as a reminder, we're into like running out of territory area. Look, we've cleaned these out. We're into the top bowl. We're starting to run out of territory to move higher. So if they don't do it now, they might do it this afternoon or tomorrow. If they set it up for tomorrow, I'll actually be very, 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 oh, don't do that. I'll be very, very happy because that would be the weekly model, right? If they're willing to do that. My funded futures doesn't show anything. Well, they emailed me last night. I posted it on, let me check again, but I posted it this morning. Yeah. It's live. Tuesday, 14th of April. That's today, 9 a.m. Eastern. And it ends Wednesday, April 15th at 11 a.m. So you've got just over 24 hours. You basically got today to pass them. Guys, I would ask you to do your own research on what you can trade with and what firms. All right, you're very intelligent people. If you're trading, you have the ability to use Google, ChatGPT, even to just test on a website. Please do the basics. Let me try and teach you the setups and what I'm looking for, and keep those basic questions. Try and answer them yourself first before you come to me. Makes my life a little bit easier. I'm not an encyclopedia. I'm not here to do all that stuff. All right, SPY into 690s. Surprise, surprise, right? It came at 3 cents short here, but 690s just got tagged there or thereabouts. There or thereabouts. And we're coming into that time that we talked about. 9:45 to 10:15. So towards that new H1 candle. Has it tagged it yet? Still not quite tagged it. Q's trying to get up to this 770 at the moment. I wonder if they're just going to be absolutely mental today and just keep going, which would be really impressive. Really, really impressive. Still SPY cannot get up to this 690 now. We're starting to see bulls come in here, very aggressive on the Qs up here at the highs. You're through that opening range. So this is your opening range break if you're going to play it. This would not be a trade that I would take today given where this opening range high is. I think it's very, very risky. But if this is for you, then it's for you. You stick to your rules. But we're there. Shelf being created here at 50. Spine still not quite through. Still not quite at that 690. It's just a tiny bit short. So 570 is the shelf here, which they, 750 is the shelf which they keep holding. SPY trying to get to that 690. VIX still not down to the 18s, which is kind of odd, with SPY moving higher and VIX just going nowhere. So it is definitely an unwind here of positions in my mind. Still going to look for that look above and fail if and when it's ready. Back down to VPOC here. My TP of 760, 1,500 on the funded, calling it a day. Have a good one, Alex. Thank you, my friend. Nice. Thank you, Chris. Very kind of you. Great work. Great work. All right, into POC. If we start to lose this shelf, there might be a little wash back down to the 720s. So it's been the same kind of look as earlier, but again, very risky. This is the hardest trade in the book. So I want to see if we stay heavy versus sort of 40s here or not. Do we drop below and reject it? Flow's still upside at the moment, but I'm looking for the bigger pullback, and then I'll get long once we finish that. Is it possible for all-time highs before the ceasefire ends? I mean, anything is possible, my friend. You know, anything's possible. What if they do a deal? They talked yesterday about doing a deal. What if they actually did a deal? I find that hard to believe, but what if they did a deal and earnings was good? Yes, then it would be possible. If we had blowout earnings, I'm not arrogant enough to say it's not possible. Like, quite literally anything's possible. And the moment you stop thinking anything's possible is the moment as a trader you're going to get yourself absolutely caught, because it will always do the unexpected. There's always a black swan event around the corner. Right, still rotating this node, still holding this node right here, still nothing for downside, still above VWAP, still not underneath anything, still upside pressure, still ES and SPY still absorbing, VIX still not come into that 18s to find a bid yet. It's perking my interest. I just think it probably needs a little bit more. I would much rather this came right down this morning, and not just for the short, so that I can actually get long in it rather than thinking about any kind of position up here. Okay, we're starting to see short traders come in or sellers unload at 38s here. Just seen them start to unload at 38. So here we go. See if they wash this back down to 20. So we might do sort of a 40 to 20 rotation here while they make their mind up. And you can see 690 is definitely the level on the SPY. Through that, there's another dollar squeeze up, but that's first move into it got sold into, which is a good sign of knowing we're probably close. Still they're holding. Didn't even come down to the 20s for the rotation, absorbed in the low volume node. If they get back above this, they'll look for excess high. Difficult to buy here, difficult to sell here. Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. The sell's the hardest trade in the book. The buy, I want to be a buyer down here. New hour coming, or new 4 hour coming soon as well. We're close to the levels, I would say. We're probably close to the levels. Not where the market pukes, but where we see some notable pullback, probably see some profit taking. M5 did rebalance and go wick to wick though, 29s, that was it. That's 50% pullback into here. If we start losing that, we'll see. Give you a readout on the mag. Tesla 2.12% up, Nvidia 1.90% up, Microsoft 2.10% up, Meta 2.74% up, Google 1.5% up, or just over, Amazon 2.85% up, Apple 0.5% up. I mean, the swings look great. I'd actually like it to come in so I can get some more size on, but we are up very, very nicely on, especially anyone that loaded up on the software stuff with me. And I am starting to buy some UK bonds. I saw some people ask why UK, not US. Just because my investment account is back home in the UK, so it's better for me to be able to buy the UK bonds. And I'll get about 3.8% on that, and then obviously if they cut rates, I'll get a lot more. But just I'm going to slowly start creeping into them. Mainly is because I haven't been able to get enough size on in tech, so it's a nice hedge. If we do start to go risk on, then we've got a hedge for that. Okay, 5-minute flag setting up here on ES and Spiders. They're still trying to go higher. Same kind of setup on NQ, but doesn't look as good. So NQ, we've got slight divergence at these highs. How are we looking on Delta? Pretty much in line still right now. Delta's fine. We're coming back to this POC. You can see there's a bit of a battle on here. There's still sellers up above 60s. Feels like it needs one more shove up at the moment. Still holding that POC. Lots of volume being built here. There's no sell, right, unless we leave excess and really have to come under this, and we're going to have to need VWAP up there, really. At the moment, we're still drift. It doesn't feel like big buying pressure, all right? It just feels like a big unwind to me. I think that's why it's such low volume. You've got every seller getting out of their position and market makers being forced to buy calls. Buy calls and buy the underlying. Maybe opening range bullish. I mean, maybe, but like for me, I can't justify buying up here. Right, you're buying at the highest point since February the 3rd. And we lack structure. All right, this is, I'd want to be a buyer down here, really. All right, and even better down in one of these. I don't want to be a buyer up here just because it's the opening range. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. I'm playing what I want to do, right? This is what I talk about all the time. You should play what you want to do. If you want to buy that opening range and risk the mid, or maybe you want to buy the mid, I don't know. But I am not going to be a buyer up here. This is way too frothy up at these levels for me to be a buyer. But again, I said that yesterday and it kept going. Yes, but opening range is not for 200 points. No, it's not for 200 points, but it should be for a 1.5, and you're at the top side of the extension. So if you're going to look for 1.5, we've already traded 690s, all right, you're going to need it to lift all the way up into 800s. And like I talked about, the main job was to steal the liquidity this morning, and we've done it. So the low-hanging fruit for me on the long side is gone, which means it hasn't got much more to aim for. Anyway, I'm going to continue to explain that. Okay, back down into this same node. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm only focused on the sell at these levels. At these levels, I'll focus on the buy if we come back in. Right, big seller now coming in at 45s, 200 lot. So he's trying to sell underneath or around that POC. and he's moving down. So we've got a seller moving down. It's the first time I've seen this for 2 days. And he's genuine. He's starting to get filled here. All right, I've got a little piece on. I've got a very, very small piece on here. It's the first time I've seen this seller. Come on, let's go. Beautiful. All right. And I'm going to take a piece off into 20s if possible, and then I'm going to hold below that. Here we go. Thank you. Finally a seller on the tape. First time in 2 days. Well, first time since last week I've seen one. All right, so a little piece off here into 20s, and we'll see if we can let go of that. I pay myself no matter what, because we're going into the edge of this where we bid this morning, so they might absorb and come straight back up. Why am I being aggressive? We're taking some off on a small move because it's counter trend. All right, it's counter trend. It doesn't have to give the whole thing back. It can reabsorb. You can see all these bids at 20, so I've paid myself a bit, and we'll see if it wants to let go of that. There we go. Let's see. Any reclaim of this node and I'm out. So we know any reclaim of that, I will be out of it. Not going to risk the high. They will need to sell against that. Need to be very aware of VWAP. So already paid myself a bit. Stops moved, and then we just wait and see now. If they let go of 20s and start to stay heavy, then we can try and get this rotation back down into the low side of this, the 700. So we're watching these nodes that have developed this morning, right? These are our covers. If we get under that, we're thin for that move back down towards the New York Open if they're really going to let it go. And if we get lucky, we come all the way down here. But pay myself no matter what, because I don't know how far they're going to let this go. Yeah, SPY still wants more. SPY is trying to do that flag move that we talked about. So if we pop above this, I'll stop out on the rest, and it'll be a small win for me. SPY trying to get back up to 690, just got rejected again in front of it. I can't. I thought I got the numbers wrong then. I'm like, am I that tired? I did have a fire alarm go off at 3 a.m. last night in our building, and I struggled to get back to sleep. So I'm extra tired this morning. So still they're finding a bid here. We can see all these bids at 25s down to 20s. Once we clear that out, we're going to move to the 700s. I'm still short in this because we haven't taken out the top grey box. I've covered some before the bottom of grey box, and we'll see if we break down underneath or not. Either way, it will be a small winning trade to start the day. I say that, I already took a break even, didn't I? It'll be second trade. Right, you can see all these bids stacking at 20s. If we flush under that, it'd be fun. We've got to get under this, though. And I've lost you guys on stream. That's annoying. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get under this. Where can you see my positions here? Oh, where's it gone? I'm going to put that back on. Yeah. All right, it's only about 16 points up right now. All right, these 20s are important. Top of this grey box is important. Very, very important. Hopefully we can flush it. We're watching SPY and ES into its New York VWAP as well. We did absorb this morning at 706s, so I need to be aware of that. All right, as we trade back down to 706s. The grey box is automatically drawn. No, I draw them on. They're manually drawn. I draw them on. They're based on volume. So if you haven't paid yourself and you were short, this is a good place to take some profit off here, because if they want to hold this range, this is where we hold it. If we break underneath this, this is where we can have some more fun. But remember, we're bullish overall. The main sentiment is bullish. This is a counter trend pullback trade. It might be that they want to set a higher low here, but again, we're at a frothy level. Right, if we let go of this, this can be fun, but you should have paid yourself something into here, and hopefully we can see that, and that'd be really fun, not just for the short, it also means we'll have a bid back opportunity later in the day. Guys, all the questions you're asking, Nightbot is posting them in chat. Please just check all the questions there. Tens. What have I got on here? 717s. All right, so they're holding the grey box. They're going to come back up and test the POC. This is the battle here. SPY again, 690. I keep getting confused because it's 690 SPY, 960 on ES, and my head's like spinning on that. That's where we are. So it keeps rejecting the 690s, the SPY, that big gamma level. Squeeze above that is an extra $1 above if they can do it, but we're still rejecting that so far. So still sat in this short, nothing's changed. Only about 20 points up here. Looking to see if we break down and wash. Still they're absorbing. Lots of bids down there. Would like to see this let go. But if SPY starts to break 690, then we'll probably have to cut this. Still it's rejecting every push up there so far. We're starting to see a little bit of a curl here into this grey box. You can see the importance of VWAP. So we will need to stay heavy. I'm not going to pay myself any more. I've paid myself some. We will need to stay heavy versus this. Any break of this, I'm out of the position, especially if SPY wants this 690 break. ES is going for the 960 break. So we've got divergence between the ES and the spiders now as well, just to make it extra hard. Oil dumping, yeah, it is coming down back inside, but you know, it's only coming back to where we were Wednesday last week. So when we say dumping, you know, it's rolling over, but there's no real difference. You know, we gapped up big off the news. We're just inside last week's range. We haven't broke out. This is always the thing. You need to zoom out. We haven't broken out of last week's range. It's not like we're breaking under 91s. All right, we break under 91s, we can have a conversation on what dumping is, but we're not doing that right now. We're coming back down inside. I'm quite happy with, content with my position here. No, you can go and look at US30, mate. I'm in a trade on NQ right now. You can go and look at US30 yourself, can't you? I'm definitely not going to juggle around. All right, buyers are currently stuck at 727. That's the level we really want to stay heavy versus now. We've got 161 lot delta stuck up there. So I want to make sure that stays heavy. Come on, mate. Let's break down and have some fun here. Come on. There we go. Beautiful. Let's see if we can get some follow through. Great rejection on the ES. SPY not even getting up there. Really nice. Okay, so let's see. Can we get under this grey box for a bit more of a melt? Remember, they protected this low this morning, so we're coming back to it. So if you haven't paid yourself, you must be paying yourself into it. Yes, still holding up really well here. Bigger delta lot, 164 lot buyer at 17s. So he's still comfortable right now at the 17s. And 27s is the level, the other level. So we're tapping into that now. That's where that other big buyer is. ES looks good, like it wants to go. NQ doesn't. There we go. Just tap that 27. So he's still stuck for now. So 17s to 27 is the current rotation. All right. They're both buyers. Both sides of that, they're both buyers. You're hoping for bottom of grey box here. I'm hoping for a little bit more, but we'll see. Might not get it. We're inside value. You can see like we're just building out a lot of volume here now. But we're short from here. If we reclaim that, then there's a big old squeeze. But this is the rotation right now today. Hopefully we don't stay here all day because there's not much range to play with. You're long here to the highs here. I mean, if you want to be long here to the highs, you can. That's on the other side of the position, so that's fine. I've already paid myself into this, and we'll just wait and see. Yes, desperate to break out here. The sellers, where's their delta? 38. They don't want it above 38. So that's where they started selling aggressively. Where was my entry? Around POC, around here. Hey guys, I'm not going to answer any more questions in chat. I'm getting the same questions. There must be lots of new people in chat. Please just like, please. I don't know why your screen looks different. I don't know. That's on you. I'm going to trade mine. The details are sent in on the stream. They're posted by Nightbot above you. If your one looks different, it's probably because you don't have the same settings. Please, come on, guys, please. Right, ES starting to break out here. I'm about to take this off. Any base above this or any lift above this. Trying to give it a tiny little bit of wiggle room here at my entry. ES going for it, so SPY going for it as well. We might get divergence at the highs here. We'll see. And there is a $1 lift if SPY really wants to put the squeeze on here. Tapping into that value area high here. Still no follow through on NQ. ES, great follow through. So ES and SPY have broken out. Oil still coming back down inside, back towards the low point of the range. If we, in fact, I'm going to set a price alert down here on CL. Can you set an alert? FOMC is in a few minutes. Are you? You got to be joking, mate. You guys all right? Are you guys all right? You know what day it is, right? All right, ES going for it. So 65 next level ES. Big old squeeze out, big old unwind. Out this now, because we're based above. And we just see what happens now. There's 65 on ES. SPY's got a little bit more in it if it wants to get up to 61. There, 691. There is nothing above that. They have not priced anything in above that right now. So that looks like the max move on the SPY for now. ES actually has more room if they want to be mental. There you go, the 5-minute flag breaking out on ES there. VIX into these 18s now. This is big now for VIX. This is big for VIX. And we'll need to make a decision here into these 18s. So they can pull back and hold this grey box now if they really want to complete the move. Again, I'm not going to be a buyer up here. It's okay. I want to be a buyer much lower. But it's not going to give me the opportunity. This the H1 right now, it is actually pretty wild from the Sunday open. But it can just keep drifting. Would have been really nice if they came to those overnight lows today to scoop some up or even deeper. Maybe they still will. We'll see. Yeah, I don't want to be short side now. Now we're above POC and continue to lift and flow stays bullish. They can keep squeezing. Not going to fight the tape. All this liquidity higher again. So some buyers getting a little caught there into 65. There's still sellers up here at 70 and 90s. VIX right into these 18s. First little bid on crude there into the low side of its range that we talked about, going back to Wednesday the 8th. That's where we're trading back into, Wednesday the 8th kind of level. First little sign of a bid there. That's pretty good excess up there on NQ. We'd need it to come back under everything again, otherwise no trade. Not going to trade top location. All right, back into this grey box. Let's see what happens here. If they let go of it again, I'll consider the same trade, especially now we have excess, but they're going to make it very hard with building out a D-shaped profile here. But if we start like leaving this and I see momentum stay heavy, I'll consider it, but not until that point. How are we doing on the likes, folks? I want to do at least 3 giveaways today. Let's get those likes absolutely flying. Buy one, get one free with my funded futures, and we'll do some giveaways on stream for it as well. Yeah, well over 2,000 of you watching, only 500 likes. Let's remember the first giveaway. Oh, let's pause that. The first my funded futures giveaway we'll do it 1,000. We'll do it 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. If we get above that, I'll give some more stuff away. Right, still basing and holding the POC. So still no trigger. Everything's upside. Everything's in the lift. The squeeze is still on here. We're, again, why I'm not being bullish, we're into the top Bollinger Band. We've taken out all the low-hanging fruit. There's nothing left to aim for. There's no way I'm buying up here. I'm just going to stick to my rules. It can keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. It's absolutely fine. I'm not going to change how I trade and trade for many, many years because of 1 or 2 days in the market. Officials have all the components of a deal, but it's not finalized yet. Fox News. Okay, great. So it's exactly the same as we've had for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've won the war. We've done a deal. We're very close to a deal. There's no deal. You were at the fucking UFC when they were trying to do a deal, mate. There's no deal. So, you know, I'll believe stuff when pen's put to paper. And not before that. Okay, here we go. 91's coming on the SPY here by the looks of it. 91's coming on the SPY. Right up into it. And we really lack much above this for it to aim for, but it can just they can keep just unwinding it. They can keep unwinding this. What's left? Not a lot, folks. Not a lot left. There's the 91 tap and fail. All right, big buyers came in at 64s. So 64s and 77s are where the big buyers came in again. It's any short up here now is going to be pretty much impossible to take. VIX is not about to break into 17s. It's just moved down into 18s and found a bid and holding there. Please don't say stuff like that. Please read what's happening. It's holding until we break under 18s and come back and back test it and stay heavy. It's definitely not breaking down. You need to be aware, not only for yourself, but there are 2,500 other people in here. If you're going to start saying stuff, it needs to be accurate, okay? Like it's currently trading at 18.02. We traded down sub 18 and it instantly absorbed and traded back above the 18. Unless we trade underneath 18, come back into 18 and reject it, then we are not breaking down into 17s, are we? All right, still here. Still, big buyers came in here. Still unloading. So big buyers came in here at 77 and again at 65. We're still holding the bid. We're still not underneath any of this VPOC. You can see it absorbed into VPOC. Right, so we were short on the first breakdown, covered, outbreak even on the rest, and now it's just lift and lift and lift and lift, and they can just keep unwinding this. Honestly, if the hedges were the wrong side of this, they just keep unwinding it. Doesn't mean there's a good position for me to really want to be buying off. Not on the high. Remember, I try and trade off higher time frame. Very hard to be doing that right now. Buying all the way up here, very hard to justify it. I would have loved to have been a buyer today down here. Again, overnight. I mean, these opportunities are so nice. They just seem to never want to give these in New York anymore. In New York, we just get this up here. We're right the way up here. Mental. But that's what we're getting at the moment. I feel like Globex traders are getting some really nice positional trades to like be able to hold positions, and we're left with the dregs. With the dregs. Why are your prices so far off? How am I supposed to know that? Probably because you're not having proper data. Probably because you got delayed data. Maybe you don't pay the CME. Maybe you've got a lag in your system. I have no idea. How am I supposed to know? I'm not on your computer. You tell me. All right, remember the buyers came in at 65. Value area high is about sort of 58 right now. So we'll see if they hold 65 or not and build out a new range. And look at that, VIX finding a bid on 18s. Whoever said that, it was flushing under. It was not. Right, testing these 65s. We've caught a buyer here at 76s, but we're holding this bid at 65s, and there's an imbalance down here. So we might do a little bit of range rotation here for a minute. Did we tag 91s? We did. SPY's not got much more. Well, it's got nothing left in the spiders to aim for. Anything above this can be really wild. ES actually has stuff to aim for. SPY does not. Crude finding a bid as well. Why do you feel bearish when we go higher? Because mentally it's hard to justify buying, so you think you have to flip the other way, but that's not the way to be. You have to let buyers get stuck to be bearish, which we might do in a bit, but remember, any short today is just going to be a pullback leg. It will not be a pro-trend leg. I had to talk to someone about that on Twitter yesterday, saying, you know, the narrative's changed. We've reclaimed key levels. We've reclaimed key levels. Well, I was short yesterday, but once we started basing over that candle, that midday 3-bar on an hourly yesterday, which reclaimed the 300 kind of level, that changed everything. That literally changed everything. And now we're in a big old squeeze higher from that. All right, testing these 65s again. Bearish is not just a function of trap buyers. Well, you would need bearish order flow, and we haven't seen that for days. So at the moment, that's the only function it would be of late buyers being trapped and people taking profits. It wouldn't be anything else because we're not in a pro trend short. And every auction has the same auction high for bearish order flow, which is trap buyers. Every single auction has that. All right, still holding that bid at 65. We're going to come back and test towards 77. So that's the rotation, 65 to 77, the two big buyers, just like earlier. 180 lot at 77. If we get above him, he's comfortable again, and we're back above him again, so he's comfortable again. Yes, looks like it wants another 5-minute breakout. It's just, there's nothing left for SPY to go for, which is insane. Why is there not another level above when there is on ES? Why is there so much divergence between these markets at the moment? It's crazy. Okay, so they held that 65. They've reclaimed 77. They will try and continue up. And the last point that they can go for is up here. Again, there is actually a few more levels they've put in now for Qs. JP Morgan won't be dumping. They just had earnings yesterday. They're talking about being risk on, which is hilarious. That they will already be risk on. They'll say it to create these moves here so they can get profit taking. All right, 800 looks like the level. 100 lot starting to advertise up there. They're going to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing at the moment. Oh my days. Well, it's a rinse repeat of yesterday, continuing to unwind. And the only thing I can really look for now will be the weekly model this afternoon or tomorrow. I can't really see being able to look for anything else. We're into the top Bollinger Band. There's no low-hanging fruits left. We're in an unwind. You think we're going to go for all-time highs on NQ? We can't go for, you've got to be joking, mate. You think we're going to trade up another 1,000 points today? We're at the top Bollinger Band. We cannot do that. It's not going to happen. Not today. Not for a little while. Not for quite a long time, actually, because you have to create liquidity for it to get there. Maybe on some of the other markets, but not for the NQ. I don't think today. I think maybe the next level to trade into is basically the 200s, but I don't think you're going to see it today, mate. All right, I really don't think you're going to see it today. Maybe I'll eat my words, but I doubt we trade into the 200s today. You are asking for a very, very big extension in a very, very thick area when we've already hit kind of max levels. I just don't see that happening today. I think you guys might be a little over ambitious for what you're looking for. Do I prefer micros or minis? It all depends on the account size you're trading and how much buffer you have on it. But micros to start with. No, I'm not explaining the weekly model. Sorry. No, too much edge. That's in the course only. All right, popping stops here. I give away enough edge as it is. Popping stops here. 800 still the level. Is still advertising 100 lot up there. What a lift. Really, really good. Popping more stops up there. Still, they're trying to get to this 100 lot at 800. But a lot of buyers are now trapped at 94s. Well, they're not trapped yet because we're not under them, but they're coming in around there. Still someone trying to support the bid at 90. They're looking for that clear out of 800. SPY cannot get through its 91. It hit 91.05 as high as day. It hasn't been able to get through that yet. God knows what happens if they start to hold a bid over that. I would dread to think. $800 your TP for long. Yeah, it makes sense. And then they have still got liquidity above it into 20s and stuff, but it makes sense. It makes sense. There or thereabouts. Maybe a little poke through it if they can. It's the guy at 94, 200 like 94, currently stuck. They need to get back above him, and then you might get that last little shove. The market's fake. It's crazy. I mean, all markets are fake. Right? It's just a big game of liquidity. We talk about it all the time. It's a big game of liquidity. The markets are not direct reflection of the current state of the economy. They're forward-looking. At the moment, we're unwinding because they are basically betting that this war is going to be over and that we're going to see inflation tick back down because oil is going to tick back down. And they're betting that the earnings are going to be good, right? So if you look at the lift up on tech, remember some of these were 40+% down, right? So you're seeing a lift out on tech as we come into earnings season. There's a reason for that. They don't want to be holding big short exposure in tech when they've already had the move, right? Because if earnings are blowout, they're going to get rinsed, right? So they're starting to unwind a lot of that. Still 100 lot advertising at 800. He's still advertising up there. He's still looking to get filled. Bit of front running in front of him again. Might be a no trade day, I think. So seller coming in at 92s now, 144 lot. So he's worried that he's not going to get filled. Starting to see some selling. Lots of imbalances on the way up. Remember, the big soak level was 65. Right, so they can afford, if they really want to, they can afford to come and test these buyers, right? So we have a buyer stuck at 94. Yeah, 94, 200 lot. And we've got buyers here at 76 and at 64. Another big buyer just jumping in there, aggressively trying to hold the bid. So we'll see here. They haven't completed the move through the 800 yet, and he's still sat there. It's what they're trying to get. I think they want like a 20-point swipe through the 800, and then they can see if they've got any juice left. Crude really has turned around really well off that low pivot. It's probably going to find a sell soon to come and retest and make a lower high and then probably a higher low, I'd imagine, rather than a breakdown. There you go. For finally through the 800s. Finally through the 800s, and they're going to keep lifting here. And like I said, they might want to go into sort of 820s. Still liquidity above here. And SPY right into the 91s. It's literally where it is right now, stuck at 91s, unable to break out through it yet. I dread to think what was going to happen if it bases above 91s and VIX into 18s. So I'm having to mark these levels out at the moment because I haven't got everything marked out. Or Ninja, because unfortunately Tanuki doesn't follow through to Ninja. Hood 10% up today. We've still got a little piece left of that. That's a nice response. Again, unsurprising, software catching a bid. Nice. I needed that lift on hood. Happy days. All right, so let's see if these buyers are willing to hold those big levels where they just rebid at. We talked about, like I said, 91s felt like the max move. Still don't like the excess up here, but we will see. They're still holding the bid. You can see these 94s just got absorbed again. That's where the big buyer came in. Still no change here. You still can't be short on this, and I'm still unwilling to long any of these areas. Like I said, I was very, very adamant that this might happen today. We might squeeze out all day and not give me a proper setup. It's very possible. SPX at 7,000. That's a long way away yet. Long way away. IB set? Yeah, thank you, mate. Nice one. Initial balance set. Thanks, Tyson. And we'll see if we get the IB trade today. It makes sense for a retest of that at some point today. I'm struggling to see the expansion model here, but who bloody knows? Maybe, just maybe. All right, remember, they've just absorbed 94s twice. 94s twice. Still they're lifting. How are we doing for likes? We're still not at 1,000 likes. It's amazing to me that I can sit here, help, offer you guys free accounts, and you guys can't hit a like button. Over half of you, over 1,300 people can't just hit the like button. It's insane. Yeah, I see him. The 213 by 790. Yeah, he's trying to protect that dip under 74s where we've developed a little node into here. So big buyer came in here, and a big resting buyer is here. All right, and they're trying to support this move. We are getting very, very grindy. Very, very grindy. You don't want to short a grind up. Back to 8, still not testing the 94s, not testing this big buyer at 90s either. ES, I don't think they're high days in on ES looking at that and SPY. I know we're into 91s, but that doesn't look like we've put a good high in yet. And look, here we go. Crude starting to find that pullback we just talked about. It's a bit odd that we've drifted up with crude drifting up off the lows right now, but there we go. The divergence just continuing to play out in this market. For me, it is just because it's a huge unwind. It's a big old unwind. Right, 94s is the level, remember. 94s to 90s is the level. Any plans for shorts now? Not right now, man. Look, like, we are in very bullish momentum. We're above both VWAPs. We're above POC. We'd have to move under 94s, and I'd need to see a shift in momentum and a shift in the tape. I'm not seeing that yet. I'd have to see a shift. Maybe some of you are playing the IB to VWAP trade already. Maybe you've decided, oh, I'm going to just play the IB to VWAP, which is fine. I'm not playing it. Now I want to play what I see on the tape today. Right, here's the tap in towards 94s. They're still protecting it right now. Under 94s, we'll test this buyer at 90s. If we start losing that, maybe I'll be interested. So into this 90 player. If we lose 90s, we can test 77s and then 65s. But this is the 100 lot or 200 lot at 90s we're testing at the moment. And this is where the last big buyer came in. He came in right here for this move. So we're testing him again. We move under this, maybe I'll consider something like this. Maybe. But again, it's the hardest trade in the book. It's the same kind of trade as we took last time, but I'll consider it. I do not like that ES hasn't put excess in yet, though. Do not like that. I think it's got more room. What does unwind mean? Imagine you had, you know, billions of dollars short in the market and in puts, right? And you've made a lot of money on it, and you know earnings are coming. You need to take those positions off. So to take shorts off, you cover. When you cover, you market buy. All right. So that's why I think we're getting a lot of these lifts. It's preparation as much as like some buying. I don't see it as huge buy pressure. I see it more as like a big unwind. We'll know it's big buy pressure, right, if we pull back into a key level and hold it. We're not seeing that right now. We're just seeing lifting. Can we come back to 500 today? Where's 500? I doubt it. I very much doubt it. I'm not going to say no, but I think, you know, a drift back into POC, maybe down here, but down here, I doubt it. I doubt it. Very, very, very much doubt it. Like any short is going to be very short-lived today. Okay, that's better. There we go. ES finally putting excess in. Finally. Like I said, it didn't feel like it had any excess in. So finally putting excess in. You're now above the initial balance, though, and we didn't feel that guy at 95 still. Flow is very, very, very bullish right now still. But finally, ES has put some excess in. So if there is a crack on these markets now for a pullback, at least we have some excess. But right now, like I said, above 91s on SPY, there's nothing left to aim for. Like, this can be a huge squeeze out above 91s. I just refuse to play it. The risk appetite for me is not upside from here. I'd love to be along on big pullbacks, but we're just not seeing it. What's the next level of ES? 80s and then 90s. I think we're going 90s on ES. I think it wants 90s. Wild to me, but that's what it looks like. Bid. Not going to fight the bid. Lots of you thinking lots of things, but what's your reasoning? Like, I think we flush now. There's nothing in this yet to say we're going to do that. What's your reasoning for that? We'd have to move underneath this node to find weakness. Okay, we'd have to move underneath this node to find weakness. Coming back to test this player again. Here's the 95. So they've moved up to 200. Again, if we see weakness under this, I will consider the IB mean reversion trade if we see weakness under this. Because we now have excess on ES. Okay, big seller coming in there to pair off. So 200 lot seller there. So I'm going to see if we can position short now. If we're going to start losing this node for this wash down. Only if we start losing this node. Yeah, IB to VWAP is what we're looking for. We might not get as far as VWAP, but VWAP be good because it's POC. Okay, we're seeing some absorption here at 87s. Starting to let go. Nice. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Really, I don't want a reclaim of the whole number. And ideally, it would stay heavy at 94s, but we'll see. Clean this liquidity out would be good. Here we go. Come on. Get through these players. There's so many imbalances lower. See if we can fill down to 83s would be good. 83s and 76s, retest value. Yeah, starting to play ball now as well, which is great. Just want pops to fail at this node. Such a hard trade. Such a hard trade, but we might get it here. Might take a couple attempts as well. Might be a bit of a wiggle. Here we go. Come on. Top of the first imbalance. Just want to get through this imbalance on the M5. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come back down to value. Come back down to value. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, watching here at 75s. Getting ready to take a piece off around these nodes here. 76s and 70s. And then we'll see if they give it more, because they can just do an internal sweep, hold this block here and come back up. We'll see. Okay, so you'd want 94s ideally to stay heavy. If they lift that, the whole number, but again, this can be an internal sweep. Like I said, it's the hardest trade in the book. Trying to time these is very, very, very difficult because flow is very bullish. This is what you want to see though. Big buyer coming in here, and we want him to stay stuck at 94s. This is exactly what I'd want to see. So we want to see passive sellers move down. They're all stacked at 800s. I like that there was a market buyer there at 94s. I just need us to move back down away from it now. These sellers stacking it up to 800. I'd like to see them walk down, walk down. One's juggled down a bit. One's moved up, which I do not like to see. Are you willing to come down on pressure? We haven't seen it for days in the market. Don't like that that guy keeps juggling higher. Come on, come down, mate, at 802. Come down and join. No, you're not willing to. You just lifted to 12s now, have you? You arsehole. You arsehole. Need them set a lower high here. Otherwise, this will be a trap, an internal sweep, and a rinse back up. So it's up to you whether you want to stop out here or you're going to risk initial balance. It all depends where your entry is. I'm giving this a bit of room. Need to stay heavy under 94s though, really. 94s, yeah, 94s. 94s and 90s. So there's big buyers, 94s, 93s and 90s. I want to move under those. Over 95s, it starts to get a little bit dangerous. Again, it's the hardest trade in the book, this counter trend higher time frame trade. Not an easy trade, but we'll see if we can get it. Looking for value area high and view up ideally, or at least this node here, 76s to 70s, and then down into this 40s here. Ideally, it might well not do it, folks. Like I said, hardest trade in the book. Ideally, we want to see this and this, and it would be like TP1, TP2. And then we can think about rebidding from here. We can think about being a buyer at that point because that would be a notable pullback, but we'll see. It might just go sideways the rest of the day now that we've pinned excess. We hit 1K likes. Okay, great. As soon as I'm done with this trade, then we'll do the first giveaway. Thank you very much. Let me know. Okay, there's a seller starting to try and walk down now for the first time today. Well, not the first time, but it's 128 lot right here at 92s. And he's legit. He's starting to fill some. Be nice if the guys above joined. There's a 62 lot now coming at 800. Can you walk down? I like that this seller's walking down. This is the kind of thing I want to see. Great. Walk lower now, seller. Really good. Now the seller's walking down. He's trying to walk price down. He's all right, completely filled here at 87s now. So we need to see if someone else will join in. Buyers now caught at 87s because they filled that seller. We need a breakdown here, though. Nothing. I'm good. Thanks. Still absorption. 94 is still the level. Still in this. Still looking for TP lower. Want to be very careful if ES reclaims initial balance here. Come on. Come on, we're very close to getting to value area high. 80 is now value area high for me on NinjaTrader. Here we go. Come to 80s. I'm looking for a fill. First fill at around 80s and then 65s. I'm not going to be a dick for a tick if we keep messing around 5 points short. We'll take a piece off. Don't want to get caught here on a failed breakdown. All right, took a little piece off there just in case. Paid myself a little bit. We just saw absorption on the tape there at 83s, which I don't like. Again, 94s needs to stay heavy now. ES starting to break back above the initial balance, or at least come into it. So very, very, very aware of that. If they fail to get under this node here for this wash, if they start reclaiming this grey box, this will happen. So you do not really want to see price above this. If you're looking for the sell into these and this, you want to see this break down. And ES, by the way, is up here. So we've got divergence at play, probably because the banks found a bid today, again off good names. Good earnings, sorry. Yes, well back above IB high now. Big divergence here. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to see. And VIX finding a bid at 18, but, you know, it's okay. We'll all move up together, shall we? Shall we mark it? Shall we just be as much divergence as possible? We'll have VIX pump, we'll have ES pump, we'll have crude go sideways after finding a bid. Okay, then. Yeah, just buy everything. That makes sense. Buy VIX, buy calls on VIX, buy crude, buy the S&P, buy the NQ. One of them will win. Stopped out in profit, yes. Good for you. I took some money off. I'm waiting to see. I'm risking IB here, so I'm giving it a little bit of room because I'm small size. Again, it's the hardest trade in the book. It really is the hardest trade in the book, the counter trend. I didn't really want to be short today. I would have much rather been long. It just wouldn't set up for me. Not for what I want. It's like yesterday. It just feels like yesterday. Close your eyes and buy it. Apple now red on the day. 0.5% down. Relative weakness there. Let me have a little quick look around these. Yeah, Apple's weak. Amazon's at high day. Google's breaking out high day. Meta's pulling back off high day. Microsoft's flat, about third up on the day. Not percentage-wise, just mean in terms of positioning. Nvidia's right at that high of day, 93s. What's the breakout level? It's coming right into a big level, this Nvidia's, where it's failed all of this year, basically, other than one pop through. Tesla, high of day, initial balance. Oracle, low of day. Let's have a look. AMD, midpoint. Hood pulling back off the highs. Netflix pulling back off the highs. AVGO just caught a bid at VWAP. Like these high beta names. IBIT pulling right back in. IREN holding up. pulling back off highs. IONQ holding up but pulling back off highs. MVTS weak. Rigetti looks good. Yeah, some of them starting to pull back a bit after monstrous moves. And ES and SPY now back through their IB, made a new high of day. That's 3 drives up there now, though. I'm risking the IB here, so coming right into where I'm going to stop out. But that IB did just reject, but you're now holding this grey box. I mean, they're going to make this very, 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 very hard for any trade. Off to 26k, I mean, it very well might be, but like for me, it's so funny when everyone's like, oh yeah, it's obvious. It's like, I cannot condition myself. I just can't. I'm not going to be a buyer here. Not on the morning drives. I don't mind being a buyer for that. But I cannot condition myself to be a buyer up here. I just won't do it. I just will not do it. Especially when you consider this. That's the only real notable pullback or sideways consolidation overnight. Right? So I respect that. I don't respect this. I can't be a buyer up there. All right, starting to see it break down. Get back into this now. There we go. All right, starting to see it break down off IB, or not break down, but break back down into this node. Yeah, VIX, I mean, I wouldn't say ripping, but it's caught a bid on 18s like we talked about. $7.46 down here. Yeah, it's a decent area. That's a decent area in today's session. That's a decent area. That would be probably a 61% pullback if we failed now as well. Yeah, that's a decent area, mate. It's a much better area. Just drift, 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 drift. I'm out of this now, obviously. Taking out the IB. ES held its IB. That pullback in held it. Divergence. As VIX pumps and the ES and SPY pumps. Great. Is it OPEX this week? Because the only time I ever see that happening is OPEX week. Let me have a look. Friday, it's OPEX week. Well, that makes sense. Well, that makes sense. It's the only time I ever see this happening is OPEX. That all makes sense now. Okay. Well, that is why there's the big unwind. That's exactly why. That's exactly why VIX is pumping and ES is pushing higher. It's because it's OPEX. Okay. I literally saw it. I was like, the only time I see that is OPEX. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. All right, well, let's pull a winner. You said you got me to 1,000, right? Are we at 1,000? Nice. All right, so set this up. Yeah, wait, because I want you guys to enter. I haven't got it set up yet. Give me a second. Give me a second, folks. Give me a second. All right, it's set up now. All right, just type it once in chat. FCT once. It's the code for all your best prop firms. Type it once in chat, and we'll pull a winner for My Funded Futures. We're gonna pull at least 3 today, as long as you guys get the likes going. I remember it's buy one get one free when you pass at the moment, any size on My Funded Futures. Great deal. That's a really good deal. Wow. Yeah, still going. So our 990s is the level for ES, I think. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am. 990s is the level for ES at the moment that it looks like it wants to trade up to. It's bloody impressive. If we're going to be in one of these markets, I'm going to have to like learn to just buy high to go higher, which is just not how I trade, but it might be how I'm going to have to start trading if this is the new norm. Buy high to go higher. Don't worry that we're up 1,000 points. Just keep buying. And they're adding loads of liquidity higher. So there's 400 lots stuck at 18s at the moment. $400 lots stuck at 18s. VIX still moving higher. All right, let's pull this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Order flows. Order flows. Let me know you're here. Order flows. Order flows. Let me know you're here in chat, my friend. Nice. Okay, buddy. I just need you to email me info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube so I know it's you. The other thing you need to do for My Funded Futures, you must have an account. You don't have to fund the account, but you've got to set an account up. Okay, so when you email me, just let me know what email you set that account up with. And then I will get you set up with a 50K My Funded Futures account. Right, is it info@flowzonetrader.com? No worries. Right, so we need to get up to another 100 likes, and we'll do another giveaway, folks. Another 100 likes, we'll do another giveaway. Right, I'm going to get a refill on the coffee. You guys get the likes up. Nothing's changed here. Order flow is still bullish. We've had one go at the short. I stopped out at IB. We'll see. Like, this just feels like a carbon copy of yesterday, and 990 feels like the level we're trying to drift towards on the ES right now. Sorry, folks. I had to put another brew on there. I didn't realise it was all gone. Okay. Still holding initial balance. It's impressive. Still nothing for me to do now. I am amazed that we still go up, but hopefully it will set something up for tomorrow. The weekly model, but maybe 26.2s if we do expansions, but we'll see. There's just no way I can long up here. No way. There's so far in premium on every time frame. Weeklies, monthlies, dailies, hourlies, 5 minute, 1 minute. We're so far into premium. So much buying at the top. Yeah, there was a lot of them got caught at the 18s. Back under IB again now. This is the same trade as earlier if you're willing to take it. But again, now you have structure. Underneath this node here, it will be fun. Underneath that node there, it becomes way more fun. They can still absorb POC. This is where weakness will come. Will come underneath this. All right, so this is still bullish structure. All right, this can still be bullish structure. Under this, we can see weakness. I'll consider rejoining that for the same trade as earlier if we do that. So 90s is the big level. Where did the buyers get stuck? Yeah, sellers got stuck at 95s. Big buyers came in down to 93s, 90s, 88. So we need to move under 88s for real weakness to take place. Here we come. The 95s. Watching this carefully. Down here to 88s I'm watching. If we start to see a snap here, I'll start looking. Will I? I will. I will. If we start to lose it, I will look for the short, but I won't look for it before then. I'm not going to trade the IB trade back in. I will look under it only. There are imbalances here up to the IB, so they might come up to the IB. If you see a sell there, that's a good sign that they're going to try and protect it. There is good excess at the highs, I'll tell you now. Like, the highs look good. There is great excess up here. This is over 400 lots trapped up here. But you can see this is the node which is important, and this absorption level down here. So we'll see. We will see. VIX still going upside, and the market's still holding up. This is insane. Thanks, OPEX. Should we just take OPEX weeks off? OPEX into earnings with world crisis going on. That's a good tap into the imbalance here. The imbalance is all the way up to IB. So as long as 806s is protected, that's a pretty good look, that first move up. You need follow through now under POC, under this block. That's the tap in I was just talking about. That's a good look. Strong selling just walking down here. You need a bit more of a nasty move lower. Here we come into POC. They got to get under this level now. They got to get under this level for you guys. And we'll try and join in if we can do that. Lots of bids stacked at 90s here. Yeah, still holding up very well. Very well. Here they come. Here come the sellers. They're going to have one more go at the breakdown. So there's bid stacked at 90s to 85. Under that, I think you're going to see some weakness. I want to see this tape just start printing red hard. VIX still going. It's coming into a key level of 18.5 here. We need VIX to get over that key level. Okay, here's VPOC. Let's see, folks. Let's see if we can find acceptance under this now. Bid here at 90. We need him to get taken out. Here we go. Big seller coming in here, filling the guy at 90. 100 lot seller here. We need to move lower under him now. Here we go. Need to move lower under this guy now. Here we go. Beautiful. Jeez Louise, they made that as hard as possible today, even just to get to here. Really nice. Beautiful. 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 Okay. Back in business. Back in business. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So we're watching 65. We're into the start of imbalances here. So there's a buyer here at 77s. So we're watching 77, 65, and then underneath. ES into IB here as well. Just be careful. You probably want to be paying yourself a little bit here. And you're going to need a rejection in this grey box, just like earlier. Reclaim grey box. You want to be done with it. And this is just like earlier. Same kind of setup we looked for earlier. Just second go at it. And we'll see if we can get all the way down towards those 40s and 50s. But the next level we're looking at is 65. It's where a big buyer came in earlier. We're into the start of the imbalance here. Oh, I went to grab my coffee and realized it's brewing next door, and I can't go and get it now because I'm in a trade. Okay, here we go. So can we get down to 65s here? And then under 65s, we're going to look for value area low on the day down into these nodes. So we're going to watch VWAP. So we're going to watch for 65 break. Then we're going to look for 60s. And then we're going to look for 44s, okay? And we're taking profits on the way down because this is the counter trend trade. This is the high time frame pullback leg. All right, so we're not going to be too greedy here. We're going to move our stops down and protect our profits. Here's the move to 65s. So I'm paying myself a little bit here, and then we're going to see if we can move lower under this now. Where's the wife? She's currently walking the dog. Yeah. That fucking bitch. No, just joking. How dare she walk my dog? How dare she? All right, so pay myself a little bit here. You can see them stacking at 60s. I'd love to get a fill right down into 40s if possible, sort of 44 area. We're back into the opening range here. I'm going to move my stop in the money, and I'm going to fill my coffee up and come back. All right, there we go. Coffee filled. All right, so we need grey box to stay heavy now. Any reclaim of grey box will be problematic. So far, so good. So far, so good. ES is trying to absorb, though. Do not be too aggressive on the short. I want to remind you, we are a pullback leg on the higher time frame. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that, okay? There's no true... I don't think we get a pro trend short unless we start breaking under 550s. That's a long, long, long way away. So I'm going to consider all of this just a higher time frame pullback until we get under here. All right, so technically it's bullish momentum over this block, which is why I wanted to be a buyer down here today. Was there excess at 1107? 1107? Oh, you mean at the lows? Yeah, there was some sell side excess underneath the 65s where we covered. Underneath 65s, there was a bit of sell side. Remember, we're watching this block here. We're short biased, lower time frame. Right, we're short biased, lower time frame under here. We've covered some into 65, this node. We're looking for this and this. And I'll consider long bias, like anything like this. If we start to reclaim, I'll consider long bias down here at the low of the range today. But I'm going to sit in this sell for a bit. Like I said, I'm not willing to be a buyer up here. It's just psychopath moves for me. I'd rather, even if we didn't pull back today, I'd rather just sit flat than buy up there and get myself caught. VIX, look at VIX, right into 16.5 and pull back a bit off it. That's what I'm saying. It has to get over that 16.5. Over 16.5, over 18.5. I'm starting to think I'm getting more and more blind or stupid, one or the other. Over 18.5, we can move to 19s on the VIX, which will help us get downside pressure. So hopefully we set up a little 5-minute bull flag here on the VIX after setting that W, and we can start pushing higher on the VIX. And hopefully we don't have divergence for OPEX and we actually start giving some of this move back. Daniel says, I wish I had more confidence in my trades. I only have 2 most of the time with my winners, and it's like 5 when I'm losing. What do you mean, contracts? You shouldn't be positioning more into your losers, if that's what you mean. They should be the same size, and your risk should be the same, not the same points necessarily, and so not the same size. But like, if you were short on this, there's 2 setups, right? I guess there's the IB failure to view up, or there's this where I've joined to here and here. So this is your risk here, and you can add in as we break down on pops, as long as you're not increasing your risk. So let's say you're willing to risk $500 and you've taken like this break or this break here. You might have added on this pop, but you need to now move your stop down to protect these on the way down. You don't want to be like short here, losing, adding more, losing, adding more. Right? If you're increasing contract size there, that is wrong. If you're increasing contract size here, as long as you're limiting your risk and paying yourself, that's fine. 2 very different approaches. This aircon's just come blasting on. Can I just sit at my desk for a minute? Sorry, folks. Interrupted a few times today for stuff. All right, how are we doing on the likes as well? Oh, we're there for the likes. Okay, let's set another. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, my funded futures giveaway. Type FCT again in chat. We'll do another giveaway here. So coming into this key level, I need to see a rejection here. Into these imbalances, into VPOC, I need to see this stay heavy. Any reclaim of this, and I'm done with it. But so far, so good. VIX looking good for that 5-minute breakout. You just need to see it push back above 18.5. And that will help, as long as we don't have divergence, that is, of course. Any break above here, I'll cut. When that buyer come in 94s, just scroll up here. 94, 95. Yeah, I want 95 protected. I ideally want 95 protected. Yeah, starting to let go potentially here. If we can get a new low here on a 5-minute, we're tapping into it. It might help us here because it's back underneath the IB. But we'll see. All right, let's pull this winner. Winner is Beneliv. I don't know how you say that. Benelivi. I don't know. 8931. Benelivi 8931. Let me know you're here in chat. Give you a minute to let me know. Benelivi. All right, going to stop out of this if we start reclaiming 95s here. That's my stop. Right, congratulations. All right, just email me info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube, please. And I'll sort you out with a My Funded Futures account. Remember, you need to set up an account with My Funded Futures if you don't already have one. You don't need to fund it or anything. You just need to set it up because I'm going to need the email that you use. Alex, your anchor profile at 9:30 is from 9:30. If yes, why is mine different? I don't know. Maybe because I have tick data. I don't know why. Maybe that's why, because I pay for tick data. Maybe because my settings are different. The settings, again, they're posted by Nightbot every 5 minutes in chat. Can we get some follow through here? So we just rejected 95 just in front of it. We need to see a breakdown now, and we've got to come trade under 65s, and we'll see follow through. If they keep absorbing here, I'm going to have to cut this because ES is just holding around its IB right now. And VIX is just pulling back off that 16.5. And if it wants to test the pivot, it's going to come down to 1635s, which is going to make my life a pain in the butt with no follow through today. And it looks like it's going to do that because it's already just dropped down and gapped on a 5-minute bar to 1835 on VIX. I don't know what that's playing at. There's that dodgy data. Come on. Please stop making every trade impossible. You won't give me longs at levels I won't like, and you won't give any follow through to shorts. You're just going to only pay people who are long, really, with big size overnight. Here's the VIX into 35s. VIX into 35s. We just talked about it. And if we get above this grey box, I'm done with this. ES again, holding its, look at the divergence here because of the banks. Holding its IB. Holding its IB. Just to make life really difficult. I don't feel like we've traded in tandem since maybe like what, last Wednesday? It's been a little while. It's definitely been a little while. We're right into this level, right into these 95s. I've got my finger on the trigger to cut this because this is where the seller came in this morning. So if they can't defend this, I'm going to have to cut it. Now or never, guys. It's now or never. And the fact that these sellers are just lifting higher again. Oh, it's like carbon copy. There's only been one aggressive, well, not even aggressive. There's only been one seller that I've seen today who's been willing to walk down. Everyone else still unwinding by the looks of it. Okay, out of this now again, sticking to rules. Paid myself a little bit, not as much as I would have liked. I'll be willing to have another look at it, but I'm definitely not willing to be long up here. Just not willing to do it. They can just keep squeezing higher and being silly buggers without coming down. Didn't even tap VWAP, didn't tap VWAP on ES, didn't tap it on SPY, didn't tap it on anything. It's there's no true retest. I'm not convinced we're going higher from here. I think we need to pull back a bit, but we will see. Might just build out here for a while. Alex Trader, maybe. I mean, I've still got bullets left if I want to have a go. Yeah, I've still got bullets left. I've still got bullets left if I want to have another go. Let me have a look at Finviz. Yeah, energy down, everything else up. What? It's amazing that ES is up as well as it is. I guess healthcare caught a bid, but it's not like, let me show you. It's not like the banks are doing that well. I was expecting to see a really big green board down here. So just healthcare maybe. Quite impressive. Quite impressive. All right, so next giveaway at 1,500 likes. Man. These conditions are not highly probable. High probability. High probability for what? I mean, they just are what they are. I don't know what that means. The market's doing what it's doing. I don't know what high probability of what. I mean, we're in a drift higher. It's not coming to a level I'm willing to bid off, so it limits my ability to trade what I want. I mean, that's all that's happening right now. I'm not sure what you mean. This feels like news is hitting the tape. This definitely feels like news is starting to hit the tape here. Some big aggressive bids just came in here. I'm not seeing anything. ESSPX positive gamma. Yeah, we went into positive gamma yesterday. I said we talked about that since yesterday. So they're being forced to buy back the underlying. Big unwind. Talked about it many times. But again, I was willing to be a buyer today. I wanted to be a buyer today, but not up here. I'm very happy to be a buyer down here. Any notable pullback, even now, any notable pullback, I'm not. Right, remember, right, for me, it's very clear. I am not buying up here. Are you crazy? I am not buying up here without some meaningful retest for that. I'm just not doing it. And that's okay. It's like I talk about, it's a choice. If it wants to be absolutely full-on R mode, then it can do it. It just means I don't get my load up. But for me, buying up here into a top Bollinger Band when it's a straight shot up without any notable pullback, it's way too dangerous. Way too dangerous. So I will limit my risk simply by not doing it, because my main job is to limit risk. Yeah, so it was news. I said there was news coming. You could see it in the tape. Iran talks could be happening over the next 2 days in Pakistan. I thought yesterday you said no more Iran talks. All right, Taco. Literally, you said no more talks. I'm not interested in talking with them. No more Iran talks. I'm not interested until I need the market higher. And then I'm interested. Then I'm interested. You could feel it on the tape. Honestly, you could see that news hitting the tape. Oh my flipping days. Look at this. 990 ES. That's the target. It's been the target all day. 990 ES. Oh my God. Which means we would have gapped. Where's yesterday's close? Gap and go from yesterday. This this is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous move after a failed breakout. That is insane. This is where they want then. 6-2s. 6-2s is what they want. It doesn't have to come today. They've obviously got a reason to get out up there. They need to force price up. Oh, it's hilarious. What I'd give to be a trader in London right now. You guys must be laughing, those of you who are in London. Like, what an easy setup you've had multiple days. Like, look at this in London. Just so nice. Thanks so much. Easy money. Day before. Base above and hold. Easy money. Why are we given dregs? Why do we get dregs in New York? What a shame. And even this H1 since 7 a.m. That was the buy. 7 a.m. or this breakout here at 3 a.m. New York time. Crazy. Well, we're above IB. No more betting against it. No more short entries. We've gone. We've had 1 or 2 efforts up there for the mean reversion. Not going to try it anymore. Can I explain why London was such a good trade? I think we just did, right? I think we just literally showed it. It was the first area of consolidation. It was the only area of consolidation. All-time highs today, guys. We're not hitting all-time highs today. You're literally mental. We're not hitting all-time highs today. No chance we can hit all-time highs today. It's that's, I mean, 0.0001% chance. It won't happen. Yes, all-time high, not that far. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's too far for today. You're going to need to print another 110 points. You're not doing that. You're not doing it. You are not doing it today. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Like, you need to be realistic. You're not going there. Will there be a run up into the big drop coming next week in the markets? Are going to fall way further? This will be the run up. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. This is like, people are like, a lot of people are saying that, but we have shifted. There's a notable shift. Look, don't be too fixed. All right, do not be too fixed. This is your POC, right, from 2024 high, right, from these pivots down here. You're above that now. So your notable drop is likely to be absorbed in here now. Anyone that was looking for this, which I was looking for if we rejected here or even here, that's out the question right now until you get back under this. So while there might be due a pullback, we can base above here and make this continuation now. It can absolutely do that from a technical point of view. It can do it. It's above this area here. All right, so it can pull back and hold fair value now and do that. So anyone that's calling for like this move here, that is not the highly probable move now. The highly probable move is this. At this point in time, until that changes, that is the highly probable move. Okay, so don't be like, oh, we've gone up this much, we're going to go down here because someone... No. Like, this is a notable shift, isn't it? If we think about this, there's the bull trap, there's the breakdown, there's the slingshot up. All right, it can hold now. And we must respect that. We absolutely must respect that. It doesn't matter what you think, what you hope, what someone's saying on Twitter, what you thought down here. We've changed. All right, this move here has changed probabilities now. So above this becomes more likely. Below this, we can talk about it, but we're not below it, so we're not talking about it. All right, you have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to adapt. The VP level, it's off the 2024 high, right? So that's all volume dating back to whatever that 2024 high was. Let me just have a look where we pinned it. December, the end, like mid-December, December 13th, right? So from that pivot, that's where it is. Sorry, I just had to change screen so I could just quickly see it. All right, 6,990 coming up, ES, like we talked about, 6,990. Still, we drift up. It's almost there. 3 points away now on ES for 6,990, and this might be it for NQ. So it's very close to hitting those targets. God knows what happens above that. There is there's nothing left to aim for. There's literally nothing. Why 6,990? Because it's the highest call wall in the market right now. So that would be the exit, I think, for OPEX. I can show you. It's the same as this level up here, but it's a much higher call wall. So we have divergence. So this is call wall number 6, whereas for ES, when it's ready, this is call wall number 1. This is the highest. In fact, it's the highest level for everything. Absolute GEX level, greatest gamma exposure. It's also the net call, the most OI calls, the peak call, the total call. Like, there's nothing above that. There's literally nothing above that. That's it. So ES running the show right now. ES running the show right now. Is it going to 26,000 tomorrow? I would say it's probably, if we're going to do a move, it's probably going to go to 26,200 up here, the next block. I don't see, I mean, yes, there's a whole number at 26,000, but it's more likely at that point to come and finish the move to 26,200. The next block up here. I'm pretty pissed off because while I'm long in some software and I am long in the ETFs, I did not size up. I was thinking we'd get one more pullback in to get some size up into it. But I can tell you this week, my portfolio, this is going to be ridiculous, is up 8.6%. That's how much the market's moved this week. Absolutely ridiculous. But not complaining about it, but would have liked some more size on for this move on my swing accounts. I think I'm in the green on pretty much everything I'm holding now. Even Nike's starting to find a bid. I'm out of it, but I'll bid back in if it's required. So I started buying some IGLT last night. I did talk about that in Discord. Long Microsoft. I'm long the S&P. I'm long Robinhood, I'm long iBit, I'm long Oracle, I'm long Meta, I'm long AMD. That's a massive winner for me. I'm 53% up on that right now. I'm long, but I haven't got size. I'm long Amazon, I'm long Netflix. So my biggest positions are Amazon and Netflix right now. And they're paying really, really well. I'm up 15 and a bit percent on Amazon. I'm up 21 and a bit percent on Netflix. I'm up 22% on Apple. Okay, almost there. Coming into the 990s. All right, coming into the 990s on the S&P, on the ES. My holding into Netflix earnings. I'll probably pay myself a little bit and then hold. Yeah, I think it was, that whole sell was done on them buying, was it MGM Warner or whatever? And then they put their out of that race. They're not going anywhere other than expanding, so... Long term, I'm willing to hold. Like most of those positions, I was looking to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Rich, you took Netflix on a post in Discord. Nice. Well, we're up big, right? We were buying Netflix in the 70s. We're trading 105s now. Really good. Which broker do I use? For my ISA accounts, I trade with 212. So most of those are in my ISA accounts. And I also use, why can I never remember what it's called? TradeStation. I have lots of accounts. Like I have an account with IG that I never use. TradeStation I use. I'm waiting for TradeStation I'm going to use. Let me check. I haven't checked it today. I'm going to use for this when it's ready. So we talked about this last week. We had a T+2. We're holding that. Look, these levels are the levels I traded at in 2021. All right. So we're still moving higher on CAR. I still think there's more juice in it, because we got that T+2. So we'll see. We're coming into the fib. Yeah, I'm interested. I need volume to come in though. I need volume to come in. I need a blow off top. We're not seeing a blow off top. So this might set up another T+2 and then we'll get a blow off top. So I'm interested in CAR and I'll take it on TradeStation when I'm ready, because they won't cost me anything on locates. And I'll look to hold that for multiple weeks or months. Options are no. I'll probably trade the commons on CAR. I imagine the premiums are fucking outrageous right now on CAR on the options. I'm sure it's ridiculous. I made 1,500 towards my trading account, and I lost 1,500 because I ignored my stop loss. Now I'm scared to trade again and lose the account. Well, that's why you can't ignore stop losses. That's why I talk about hard stops all the time. They're there for a reason. They are there for a reason. Right, we came just short. We came 6 ticks short of that 990 on ES. So it's still trying to get there. Let me just see if there's any liquidity above us. Oh my God, there is. 900 still on the tape. I'd imagine we're peaking out soon. Is this the 1.5 as well? It doesn't look far enough yet. 900 possible. Impressive. It like really impressive. It's hard to watch it go without you when you're just like, I can't buy it. Can't buy it until it pulls back in. It's really hard. When I say use hard stop losses, does that mean you give it little room to breathe? No, it means you literally put a stop loss in. Not, oh, I'm going to stop out here. You literally drag your limit or your stop onto your chart so that if it gets tagged, you're out. Most of you, especially if you're newer traders, even if you're not, you just trade with brackets. It's going to make your life easier. And don't move your stop. They're looking for that 90s. They are looking for the 90s here. Well, it's a huge wall, 90s. That's why it's struggling to break through there. It's a big old wall. It needs excess and a shove up. I'm not going to trade the short anyway, so I don't know why I even care. 20 minutes left. We're still 300 short of that last giveaway. Man, what I would do to be long on a decent pullback in this market. What I would do. No H1 retracement for the long for me. Not for my system. By the way, if you've been long since overnight or at any point this morning, you better be paying yourself up here. Move to Spain, yeah. Well, exactly. It's always on the horizon for me. Here we go. Here's the move towards the 90s. They're almost there. They are almost there. ES again, much cleaner, holding its initial balance as well. It's such a cleaner trade on ES again. Way, way, way cleaner. In fact, what was the pullback this morning? Did it hold a key level as well? Not really. '90s. You just hit 89.75. 90s is the level. Make sure you're exiting. I tell you what I think. I think you're about to get banned from chat. That's what I think. How is it not? How is it not tagged it? A tick short. One tick short. Again, I'm not. If you guys want to be short, by all means, but we're now above initial balance. We're above everything. There might be a mean reversal. I'm just not going to take it. This is way, 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 way too squeezy. I'm not going to fight the tape, and I'm not going to join the long up here either. I needed to be at my computer this morning earlier. I needed to be here at least at 7 a.m. to get this move. They're still not taking it. They're still one tick short. What's this line? It's the sixth call wall, but we're at the top call wall for ES. That's why I'm saying ES is kind of dictating price right now. We are in an absolute squeeze here, right? At the moment this market reclaimed this level here yesterday, we were in positive gamma where they have to start buying the underlying. And I really wanted to be a buyer this morning, but I really wanted to be a buyer here. Anywhere here, even a look below and fail of that would have been amazing. But like I said, I can't force it. I'm not going to change how I trade just for 2 days of lift. It's fine. I just missed the moves. It's not a big deal. Really is not a big deal. Okay. Mate, what a child you are to even, like, what a weird thing to say. How old are you, like 5? There you go. You're gone. And you'll never be coming back. What a weird thing to say. What a weird thing to say. What are brackets? Brackets are OCO orders, basically. One cancels others. So, like, let's say you were short here. It would instantly put your stop loss wherever you have it set on the bracket and a take profit. And then you can drag that stop loss here, for example, and move this take profit here. And you can set it to like 2 to 1R or something like that. So it guarantees that you stop out. So you could even set a bracket for like a max loss. Let's say your max loss was like 500, right? And it prints it up there. Then you know that if price came here, that would be your max loss on the day. Not that I'd ever advise doing that, but just for example. So it's automatically putting an OCO order in. Where are these glasses from? They're from Hugo Boss. All right, 90's now tagged, finally tagged. I have no idea what they can do above this at this point. They can just get absolutely wild because the dealers will be in big trouble now. There's the stop hunt above 90s. You can see it on Bookmap above me. Dealers are going to get really they're going to be forced to buy everything, basically. No, it's not a news candle. It's the gamma level. That's why. That's why we said 90s. That would be my TP. I would be 99%. Anyone who is long London or managed to get long this morning, if that pullback was enough for you to get long this morning, you should be out 90% of your position here. And no, I'm not joking. 90% of your position here. There's nothing else for it to go high. Anything above this is a ginormous squeeze, and I'll remind you, basically 1,000 points up in the last 2 days. You do not want to be. If you're thinking about buying up here, you're nuts. You're nuts. We didn't even come down to the level that I wanted to buy off here this morning. I was looking for a buy back down here. Even this move here just won't give me what I want. Will not give me what I want this week. Yeah, these are prescription as well. I've got stigmatism and prescription in these. It's exactly what they are with a blue light lens. You need a short. You do not need to short. You do not need to short against this. This is, look, it's a non-stop. Understand, it's a non-stop bid. The only short opportunity was here, right? When they were letting go of this. They've reclaimed this. There's nothing to short now. You're above initial balance. You're above all gamma. There is no short opportunity up here, right? You're just saying it's too high. There isn't actually an opportunity. There isn't actually a setup, right? The setup, the only setup was here. And even that was a look below and fail, So we hit TP1 and then they took the runner out and they're away with it again. There's nothing else. There is nothing else to trade short side right now. We are in a ginormous squeezer up. You do not want to try and fade this market right now. You just have to just accept that it's going to squeeze, and it is what it is. You don't need to try and be the other side of it. Why do you need to be the other side of it? You don't need to be the other side of it. It's where people go wrong all the time. You know, I have to trade it. I have to do that. No, you don't. You don't. You can just sit here. Like we said, 26.2s might be where they want to come to the next few days. I don't know. It's wild, isn't it? But there we go. It's one of those today. It's just one of those 2 days in a row. I wouldn't have minded being long today if it would have just come in. If it would have just come in a bit for me, it would have been great. So this is what I wanted today as a reminder. Any of these pullbacks into any of these would have been great. The first three things is what I'm looking for to get long. So all I wanted, any form of pullback. This can get wild now because they're going to force to buy and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, and you're in a ginormous gamma squeeze until they're done with it. This can be absolutely insane now. Please stop saying silly things like new all-time highs incoming. We are nowhere near new all-time highs. Just be reasonable that there are also, understand there's also other people turning up for the first time. Saying something like that will make them want to buy this, thinking, oh, we're definitely going up there. We are not. We are not going to new all-time highs today. I will just remove you from chat. You're just being a bit of a bell end, mate. It's the same name all day long. Guys, we are not going up here today. You are being stupid, all right? You're being stupid. We are not coming up here today. It's not closer than I think. I understand exactly where we are. We are not coming up here today. Please stop. Stop with your nonsense. You literally don't know what you're talking about if you think we're going there today. Do you know if I've entered a trade? Yeah, I traded earlier. I've traded one account today. Yeah, I can show you. This is it. This is all I've traded. And that one failure. I had like a couple attempts at it. That's it. I sat out the rest because I'm not seeing what I want. I would link them together. If we saw that pullback this morning for an A+ trade, which would be a pro trend trade, I'd play them together. What possibilities do I see for the rest of the week? It's very hard to say now with OPEX. Like I say, I would like to see a pullback into some of these key pivots. And if we hold those, then we know buyers are strong. This is a ginormous gamma squeeze out. That's what we're in right now. And it can keep going and going and going. Maybe 900 is the next level on NQ. I don't know. We've got 135 lot up there. But I'm certainly not going to fight the tape. All right. Maybe we pull back in soon today, but this is not a setup for me trying to take a mean reversion above initial balance, above gamma with a squeeze out. That's not a legit setup. That would be picking a top. Alex, I know you pick your bias and stick with it, but we are clearly bullish market. Why don't you ride the trend and choose the path of least resistance? That's exactly what I wanted to do. Look, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be bullish, but I have levels I want to play off. All right. Just because, this is the thing that I think people can't understand. Just because we are moving up and up and up and up and up, this doesn't fit my setup. My setup is this here, or at least a look below and a recovery, some form of thing like this. I'm not going to buy These are small pullbacks. You might think these are good pullbacks. These are small pullbacks on higher time frame, all right, to get long. These are not opportunities for me to buy. For you guys, maybe they're opportunities to buy, but I am trading, remember, off the hourly. It's the main chart I look at. I have not had a pullback on this hourly chart into any of these key levels. All right, I would have been a buyer. Oh, come on, let me draw. Here, no problem. Here, no problem. We're here, and now we're here. We haven't rebalanced or repriced any of this for me to be a buyer. I will not buy this on the way. I'm just not going to do it. It's just my rule. I would love to be a buyer, guys, but I haven't seen what I want to be a buyer, so I don't do it. I feel like I have to explain that all the time because people are like, it's going up, you have to buy. It's like, you don't have to do anything. Everything is about a choice. Literally everything in the market is a choice. This can keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, but everything is a choice. There's a big old gamma squeeze at this point. I don't think there's anything left to aim for. We just hit the 900s. There's literally nothing left to aim for. I don't know where they can lift this to now. The next node... check the daily here. Where's the next node? We can keep going. We are into an edge here. We're really into an edge here to 37. 900 to 37 is a big node edge. No one fading this, that's for sure. Zero chance. Zero chance. Even if they collapse it, it's fine. The reason I also can feel comfortable about like not being in this is like trading props up, whatever. I'm swing long in my accounts. Like I said, I'm probably up 9% now on the week on those accounts, and that is a nice gain on a weekly gain on big money. I'm not as much in as I'd like to be. I'd like bigger position size on it, but that's where a lot of my money is made, is on those swings where you can just let them work. My AMD is probably approaching 60% swing up now. It's insane. You think we've still got 200 points left? I mean, there is a node up there. Like, this is the next block. It's asking an awful lot to get up there in one day. But at the moment, I mean, this is insanity. And we can keep being insane. What's the saying? Like, the market can something longer than you can something. I can't remember what the longer can be insane, longer than you can stay solvent, or something like that. Irrational. Something like that, right? There's something like that in it. Irrational, that's it. ES for 7,000, yeah, but looks that way. And like I said, there's nothing left for it to aim for. They haven't put any new options level in. We are in a huge gamma squeeze here. 900, 137 lot seller here, and then we'll try and squeeze through him and then lift it for a pop through that, I would imagine. Let me see if there's anyone above. Let me come up to 26k. There's some sellers at 955s and 950s. There's 100 lot at 26k. Let me go up to 26,200 just out of interest. 137, 162. No one's at 200. They're not looking at that today. Are we trading 9? We're still coming down. There we go. So failing there on that last little look. Where's Where have all my levels gone? There we go, that's better. Running where they all were then. Okay, so first pullback in front of 900, a little bit of front running. A little bit of front running there. Do you think using the footprint daily candles has any sense? Yeah, you could use it to see mainly the delta on it, I would say, and like the volume on those daily candles. Yeah, that would make sense. Man. I'll review that. I wonder if... Is anyone using the Trend Friend Pro? Did anyone take that pullback at 11.05? I couldn't validate along there, but it actually looks all right on the 5 minute. Not deep enough for me, but it looks all right. I'll remind you, please don't long up here. This is a huge squeeze out. It doesn't mean you have to be short, but this is a huge squeeze out. Do not be adding long up here, all right? You're 100 points higher than like really any notable structure. It's amazing. VIX is curling and finding a bid as well. And crude just did a look below and fail and reclaimed IB. How are we doing? Coming to lunch as well. Yeah, they might well. These highs are awful. They might well pull this back into lunch. It's tempting, but I'm not going to do it. It goes against my system, so I'm not going to do it. Pullback starting? Yeah, it is definitely starting, but they left that 900. If ES comes back under 990, it's probably a good sign. But, you know, we haven't hit that 900 yet. Excess isn't amazing up there yet, but I'd say like if you were adamant on taking it, which I'm not going to do, would be 93 and unders. You'd want 93 and unders to stay heavy. And really you'd want ES back under the 990s. And that would help you quite a lot, I would say. And then you could look for a pullback into some of these nodes down here, into 44s and lower. Did I make some money today? Only a little bit. Not a lot, really, because I didn't see what I wanted, so I haven't linked my accounts. I don't think I'll have another go at it either. I think I have to wait for the weekly model tomorrow, which is fine. It's fine. It's tempting to have a go here, but I just shouldn't. Even though I can see it's probably going to do it, I really shouldn't be looking to trade this down. No, I'm not looking for counter trend now, because even though this can come right back in, look, this is an exuberant trade up, where you can see like a 50% pullback probably coming here. Don't like these highs, but you can probably see a trade down into here and maybe here. But the only trade today that I liked was under this for that counter trend rotation. It didn't come. Might well pull back in now, but like I said, every short today, you want to be very careful. They have got their exit. Here comes ES into 990s. Now, this is your confluence area. Do they let go of 990s or not? And then you would need to see pops fail on NQ. If you're adamant on taking the short back in, you'd need to see pops start to fail. You got in at 10.05 on Trend Friend. 10. Yeah, see, that's pretty good, mate. That's pretty good. I was just watching that wick to wick, that 9.45, pull back 11.05, hit that 9.45 wick, tagged the EMA and held, which is a good sign of like the algo holding it. Like maybe there's an argument for that, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to review. Maybe I'm just being too greedy, wanting it to come too deep at the moment, where it's just like we're in squeeze, so it's just not going to do it. But hey, I'd rather be in capital preservation than anything else. All right, so you're into this first lot of imbalances here. All right, right here, you're into this first lot of imbalances right here. Once you start letting go of that, we're pretty thin then, all the way down to like the low 800s. But remember, there's not a lot of excess up here yet. So you'd need to defend this node at 94s. If they can't defend 94s, then there's a good chance they come back for the 900 still. Is the guy still up at 900? Let me just check. Yeah, he's still there, 130 lot. So hopefully you see a lower high here for those of you who are short. I can see some of you saying that. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. It's like bears, bulls, and pigs, isn't it? Yeah. Starting to see failures here. Come on, Bookmap. Starting to see failures there at 85s. If they start breaking down underneath these 90s, you might start getting the wash back in. Oh, it's so tempting to fucking get some money here. Oh. We are thin down to 40s. Very thin. Go to the bathroom. All right. Well, I need a bathroom break, so maybe I'll do it and it'll help you guys, and then we'll come back. All right, so they're popping back up. They're going to come for that excess at 90. So they held this node. You can see this being developed. I'll stay with you guys just for a little bit longer. This here is your over-under. Don't like those equal highs at the top like I talked about, and there's still that guy at 900 to be filled. And they held 990 again on ES, like I talked about. Exact replay of yesterday. Yeah, exactly. It is a huge unwind. It is a huge unwind. It's why you can't force your way against it. It's also why I wanted the trap, or I wanted some big H1 level to play off. Just very jealous at the moment over those guys from overnight. Such a nice play, man. Such a nice play overnight. And you're into lunch now as well, guys, just so you have a reminder. So volume, you probably get a little lift through 900, and then volume might start to drop off over lunch. Just a heads up. What a squeeze. All flow zones just held all morning long. Well, I'm glad I didn't play against it other than a legit setup here, but I don't know, man. Sometimes playing off the H1 can be tough to sit. When was the last time I saw PA like this? Probably this time last year. But we had more volume. Last year was genuine buying rather than a big unwind, but we had more volume. This time last year, off that tariff pivot low, or whatever you want to call it, off that. Can't go down. Yes, because they're just unwinding. It's just a constant unwind. It will pull back when they've got their like enough exit, and they, you know, when enough bulls start exiting, it will naturally pull back, and then they won't need to force to keep buying the underlying on the options. But at the moment, it doesn't need to. Structure is so bullish. The only time there was possibility of a bigger pullback was once we failed IB and we lost this. And we cut that the moment it traded back through here. Now, you could argue that's a long trigger because it's a look below and fail. I just struggle, this is me, I struggle to buy here for that when we've moved from here in 24 hours. That for me is a very tough buy. It's very hard to convince me to buy up there when we've moved that far in 24 hours, but that's what it required today. It required to like not care about price below. Again, I won't be shorting this now. It's if you guys want to do it, it's up to you. I won't be doing that. Probably pull back overnight, yeah. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. We'll wake up to a 1,000-point gap down and some news war kicked off. I don't think that's going to happen. White House direct futures discussion with Iran are underway. No date yet. It's from News Nation. Still absorbing. Still they're trying to get that move to 900. Things that go up must come back down. Yeah, but like, it's not pro-trend now, right? So yesterday morning was potentially a pro-trend short until we reclaimed 250, 300. Then the long became pro-trend, and we were just looking for a pullback in for a retest to get long. Didn't happen. This is like, let me draw it out for you, what we've been in, right? So let's say we've done this. We've done this. All right, so yesterday was a pro-trend short for here. The moment we reclaim that, it's now a long, but we're up here. So I don't want a long up here. I'm looking for some kind of pullback to get long for that pro-trend. That's the difference. That's why yesterday I was short until we got through 250, 300. Once we held that, it became a pro-trend long, but now there's no opportunity to long because we're just... For me, there isn't no opportunity. For what I want on an hourly, it lacks the opportunity. For me on an hourly, for what I want, doesn't lack opportunity clearly, because I'm sure some of you have been bidding this the whole way up. But for me, this is a very steep move without a notable pullback, and the long opportunity for me, if I was a buyer, is on something like this or this. It is not here or here. It's just how I play, so I can try and maximize my gains, but that's just me. We're going back to the large range. I think, well, we're through the first one, right? So you'd have to say if pullback, we're well over the daily Bollinger as well. If pullbacks hold anything in towards 700 now, all right, if any pullback holds 700, I don't just mean today, I just mean in general. If we hold 700, and certainly if we hold 400s, then yes, I think we're drifting back up to those highs of early Feb of 200. Lorenzo, London session gave the best setup of the day today and yesterday. Do we have gamma levels on the ETFs? There's nothing left. We're through everything. Look, there's quite literally nothing left. When it loads. Why is that not loading? don't know what. Oh, there we are. There's nothing left. That was your last level. There is literally nothing left. This is why I'm saying we're in a gamma squeeze over this. Nothing left. It's done. It's cooked. They're having to buy everything now. That's just how it works. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going to trade the short. I'm not going to force against it. Not at this point. No setup. There's no setup for it. Still looking for VIX 18.5. Well, it would need to break above it. We already came up there and failed it, right? We came up there and failed. VIX is in a range now. But again, on the move up there, like we talked about, it's OPEX. We had divergence. So VIX was printing higher with the market printing higher. All I'd say now is there's no long trigger up here, right? I mean, maybe if you're a scalper and you're willing to play on volume, but for me, there's no long trigger up here, and I wouldn't be a short seller today in a drift higher. Not unless you saw something, a notable shift in momentum. Is anyone still long? Did any of you buy like the open or a good pullback? I'm just interested. I'm basically looking at this thinking, have I kicked myself here on the trend friend not picking up this wick to wick? Was this criminal? This is where we were short down into it. Was it criminal not longing that? I don't mind not longing that, but was that criminal? Is my question to myself at the moment. You were and you just closed out. One of you entered 883. I mean, really? You bought 883? You were in overnight calls, Mark. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing. 11 a.m. on the M5. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 11:05, 11:10 on the M5 is what I was looking. Yeah, you entered there. Very nice. If volume is decreasing, well, no, technically speaking, if we're doing this and this, that's quite bullish. That's bullish because it means there's no sellers. There's no strong selling to break down. So that decreasing volume is what you want to see on a pullback. That's healthy for a move higher. But if you break under here, you'll probably get an increased volume of, because then you'll get the snap underneath. But again, I am not going to trade that today. Happy to sit here a little bit longer and have some discussions. I am salty on that H1. Salty on this right now. Like anything in there, just anything in there would have been good. Look how extended we are from the 21 on the H1. Like, I just can't. You see how the nice moves come into the 21, come into the 21, come towards the 21. I just can't. It's just basic principles which are stopping me participating. I'm not going to kill myself. Look, it's not like I've lost money. It's just when you see this, it feels like a missed opportunity, but I just got to reframe that in my mind. We're at 1500. We might not get there now because probably most people gone to lunch. No, we won't get there. We're in a Dorito pattern. Well, it can still be an ABCD. This is still what it's trying to do. You're not in a sell until you get under that. And even then, like I said all day, you're in a pro trend above initial balance. That trade there is not a great trade today. Not when we're a drift higher. It's not a great trade to be looking at today. I would not, like I've said a million times, I would not be short here, guys. It doesn't mean, I think a lot of you struggle to understand. Just because you're not one side of the trade doesn't mean you need to be the other side of the trade, right? Just because it's not a high probability good long setup, it doesn't mean you need to be positioning short. You need to just be not in it. Crude just hanging around at lower day, but still won't break under its IB. Interestingly, how they positioned that. Exactly, Lil Scooter. Way too overextended to think about long. I have felt the same all day long. But there's no breakdown here too short. There's no momentum shift. There's no big profit taking. There's no volume trapped above. So there's no short like setup. Here they come. They're looking for that 900. They want to get Mr. 900. They're trying. They are trying to get Mr. 900. That's all I'm waiting to see is if they do that, just out of interest. I don't understand what some of you see when you look at this and you go, it looks like it's finished. It doesn't look like it's finished to me yet. I'm honestly interested what some of you see when you look at this and it's doing like that inverse head and shoulder ABCD kind of pattern with a 900 lot above him. Like, I don't think we're finished until we move under that grey box. And even then, I'd be cautious about saying something like that. Stomach's rumbling. I need to eat. Look at SPY holding over its 990s. SPY, ES. Here we go. They're going for that 900 guy. 140 lot seller there. They're trying. Markets are moving on dreams and hope. Maybe, but that's how the markets move, mate. They price in ahead of time, right? So that's just how it works. So there you go. 900 now filled. That guy finally filled up there, or that person finally filled up there at the 900s. So that's a new high of day. So they weren't done. Maybe they want more. Maybe they want more. There's still bids coming in at 95s, you know. But like I said, that this can get nasty for shorts. Like, it can get nasty. There's nothing in here that said it was done. Whoever said it was done, I don't understand. I really don't understand why you would think this was done when there's a guy sat here. And look at these bids. Still, they're coming in. VIX is still up. No, it's coming back in a little bit now. It's just put in a lower high. But you don't see fall off a cliff though, Alpha Bella. You don't see that. What you see is a big squeeze. What you're hoping for is a fall off a cliff, but that's not what you're seeing. Okay, it's not what you're seeing at all. What you're seeing is a squeeze and a grind and a squeeze. Right? There is, like I said, there's no short setup until you trap intraday buyers up high, and you are not doing that right now. You would need to see that, and even that is a very tough, very dangerous trade in this market environment. It's the same one we took here when I said millions of times, toughest trade in the book, probably fails. And ES might want the 7,000s. You meant visually and psychological. Again, you don't mean visually. Visually, it's not what you see. It's what you'd like to see. It's not psychological. Psychological is drifting higher, squeezing everyone out. It's not what you see. So you need to change that. Just don't convince yourself it has to do this. This is what I think it's going to do. It doesn't matter what you think. Only thing that matters in trading all the time is what happens. It doesn't matter what you think or anything else. It doesn't matter what I think. Only matters what actually happens. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't convince yourself. You think 26,000? I mean, you might well be right, folks. But I think if it goes 26,000, it might as well go 26,200, which is the next block. Man, it feels like that's where they're going. They have to get there for OPEX, I think. I think that's like their rule at the moment, which is wild. All right. I'm out of here, folks. Maybe another big miss today. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. A little bit of money in the bank. It will have to do. A little bit of money in the bank. All right, peace and love, everyone. And I don't think I'll trade this afternoon. I think I'll probably now wait for this to like let it get frothy and see if there's a weekly model set up. Hopefully they don't gap it down overnight. If they gap it down overnight, it is probably going to kill the setup for tomorrow. So hopefully they don't do that. I've seen that you guys have emailed me those who won. Give me 10-15 minutes and I'll reply to you and get you set up on my funded futures. It can take up to 48 hours, sometimes a bit longer, just so you have a heads up. It's not instantaneous like it is on Apex. All right, team. Peace and love, everyone. And if you haven't learned already, you got to use hard stops and you don't fight the trending market. You leave it alone when it does this, or you join it if it's giving you an entry. Peace and love, folks. See you tomorrow.